Oh, I do not want to know how much Odyssey is gonna charge me for new pads.
Ugh.
Oh God.
You know what I bought recently?
Mm-hmm.
I recently bought the lumbar support only for my chair because this just when I bought it from the guy secondhand, it didn't come with a lumbar support. And I was
Oh
like,
yeah.
That would be nice to have. How much is this? And I looked up like on Amazon because like obviously Herman Miller chairs are like they're like top dog in the chair world.
Mm-hmm.
So lots of people make kind of like third party attachments or like replacements because they're very expensive chairs.
Oh yeah.
And the Amazon reviews for the lumbar support, like the third party lumbar support, were all just like, yeah, this thing sucks ass. This thing broke in like 3 weeks or whatever. And I was like,
Oof.
okay, well that sucks. And then I looked on the actual Herman Miller website to see for their parts because you can order like replacement parts from them and they'll like manufacture and send it to you.
Yeah.
And the lumbar support is by far the cheapest thing you can get.
Huh?
It was like $30, and I was like, you know what? I'll take it.
I did just look it up, and the LCD ear pads for my beloved LCD 2Cs are $80. So, you know what? Could be worse. You really, really don't want to know how much the.
Oh my.
Actually, let's go. What were those called? Focal clear.
So do you? Okay, I have a question. This is actually a question about the stream, which is live now, by the way. Do you think we can manage to do half of them?
If we hurry. Maybe they'll be quick because maybe Wizard's easy as fuck.
I have an inkling that Wizards may be easier than we think. Sort of.
I think it'll be easier than we think. I don't know that makes it easy.
I think the moment to moment
no spells
class,
to look at.
Exactly. I think the class to class, like the subclass to subclass ranking will not be difficult. I think the overall ranking may be a little weird because there's such a wide disparity between the worst wizard and the best wizard.
Yeah. I wonder which one.
I think this is my prediction. I think that we're going to be contending for S plus like tiers.
We might.
Well,
we'll see. We
it
can
might
also
just happen
more.
just from the sheer number of wizards we have here.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm honestly kind of excited. This is going to be a juicy one.
Oh boy.
It's wizard time.
Exciting.
Yeah. So I'll queue up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll queue up 8 of them and then we'll go from there.
How many are there total?
24.
Oh my god, okay.
But I think some of them will be not too difficult, not overly difficult. Mostly because some wizards really are just nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what does a necromancy wizard do?
I actually know what that one
I
does.
don't remember that one being very good.
I remember
you regain some hit points when you cast necromancy spells. That's about it.
Ugh.
I wonder if we have to judge it based on the new Tasha spells, because I actually don't know how good those
Yes. Yes, we do.
I think slightly, but also I think most of them is like kind of.
I mean, yeah, we'll just have to pull up the necromancy spell list and see if it's worth using.
Well, that's a problem to solve when we get there. That's like that will probably be a next week problem, to be honest.
Hey, this abjuration list is gonna have to pull it. We're gonna have to pull up spells, so.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
There's some interesting synergies with Abjuration Wizard, and I don't quite remember them.
Wait, do we have to do Artificer?
Yes.
Artificer?
Yes.
The first Unearthed Arcana added a wizard subclass called Artificer.
Yes. Good.
Well, it's different from the other one, so I guess.
Yeah, it's years ago.
This I believe was the first Unearthed Arcana.
No way.
Yeah,
it says Unearthed Arcana 1 Eberron.
Oh my god.
I mean, realistically, this is on the same level as like Skag classes.
Mm-hmm.
Although I think for the Unearthed Arcanas, they tended to be a little bit more, shall we say, generous with the power level. But that's just my guess, honestly.
That's not saying much. Considering the subclasses in Skag.
Yeah, I think Lore Mastery was the like super broken one, right?
Yes.
Lore Mastery was really strong. Blade Singing is really strong.
Blightsinging's in Skag, isn't it?
Yes, Blade Singing is in Skag. I don't think it ever made it out of Skag,
No.
which is interesting.
Yeah.
It's like the one redeeming feature of that book. That book is literally just the Blightsinger book. And then we have the Strixhaven ones to grapple with, but that will be probably a next week problem.
Let's just get started.
All right, you ready to start? Let's see. Where's
I want to
think
go
it's this
through.
one. All right, cool.
You gonna? Yeah. Okay.
So
well, actually, no. Before we start, as always, lay out your bona fides. How many wizards have you all played?
That's
okay,
right.
I'll start. I have played, I think, maybe 2 or 3 wizards. Probably 2. I really don't play wizard that often.
I've played at least 2. I've played Blightsinger,
Mhm.
and I played what the fuck did I play? Illusion. I played the Illusion
Oh,
Wizard. in
that
your
one was
campaign,
funny.
Josh. That'll be fun to rate.
I always think
We're
you've
not-
played more wizards because you just talk about wizards all the time.
I talk about wizards, and I play just a ridiculous amount of magical
Yeah.
casters, and you usually just think like sorcerer equals wizard, even though that's not true.
Counting one-offs, I've played 3 wizards.
Interesting.
I'm sure I played a wizard and a one-off, but yeah.
I think this is a thing. I feel like a lot of the wizards.
Wait, 4, right? What was because I played the really evil guy. Was he?
Oh yes, you did. Was that a wizard? I guess it was, huh?
Wait, what
Yes.
was he?
Yes, because you were
I
casting
think-
the hut or the
Was
thing
it?
that increased floors.
Were you playing a Blightsinger?
Oh, I might have been. Wait,
Really?
was I don't remember what I was.
Hold on, I can pull up the Roll20.
Yeah.
Launch game. Let's see. You played the Wrathful, who was an Evocation Wizard. You played an Evocation Wizard?
Yes. Oh yes.
Right.
Big
Oh
damage.
my god.
Of course.
That's right.
We've had several. We've had several evocation wizards.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
The magic missile was strong.
The magic missile is strong in this one.
It was so broken in that campaign for some reason because you gave us some nut features.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. We've actually played less wizards than I thought. It's weird that Dan has played the most wizards.
The reason we think that we've played more is because we did in fact have a campaign where every player played a wizard.
That's true.
And so then we shared all our spells.
We were so strong.
And then we theory crafted the shit out of every fucking wizard as a result. But like,
Turns out playing a fighter is just sandbagging.
yeah.
Playing
So
a
I
fighter
Rogue,
is
sandbagging. Anything that's not a wizard, sandbagging.
We did nearly die a couple times, I'll have you know, but for the most part,
Okay.
the all wizard campaign was a thing. There were 4 of us.
It certainly was a thing. I feel like the problem was that when we were playing a lot of wizards, and obviously this is less relevant for Dan. When we were playing the majority of our wizards, most wizards played pretty much the same. I would go as far as to say most wizards kind of still play the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Largely speaking, I think there's like 2 or 3 categories of wizard that you're really ideally going to be playing. And
So are
like,
you saying they were less enticing back then or something? What?
no, I think I think what I'm saying here is that if when we were playing, right, Blightsinger was kind of the only real different subclass, and that all it did was give you more AC, right? Ultimately,
So you absorb damage. Yep.
and the thing is that because the wizard spell list doesn't really change between wizards, you play one wizard, you play all wizards. Wizards are just coward warlocks with commitment issues. Pass it on.
Man says bias against wizards.
Says the warlock main. Yeah.
Yeah.
The warlock main is real.
Says the warlock main. God, warlock main is such a derogatory in a post NFT world.
Such a warlock main. They played the warlock in Pathfinder.
such a warlock main. Why don't you go invent NFTs or something?
Oh God.
Okay. Abjuration Wizard. So, beginning at 2nd level, the gold and time you must spend to copy an abjuration spell into your spell book is halved. This is whatever.
They all get this. It's whatever.
All wizards get some variation of this, more or less.
All base
We can
wizards.
pretty much ignore this feature for everyone.
Yeah, this
By the way,
feature is like nothing. This is a nothing feature.
Do you put up the chat on the stream, by the way?
Yeah, it's up.
Is it?
Is it? I don't see it. Does it fade away?
Yeah.
Oh,
there
it
is.
fades. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, never mind. This fades quicker than I thought. Sorry.
Same.
Continue.
Starting at 2nd level, you can weave magic around yourself for protection. When you cast an abjuration spell of 1st level or higher, you can simultaneously use a strand of the spell's magic to create a magical ward on yourself that lasts until you finish a long rest. The ward has hit points equal to twice your wizard level plus your intelligence modifier. Whenever you take damage, the ward takes the damage instead. If the damage reduces the ward to 0 hit points, you take any remaining damage. While the ward has 0 hit points, it cannot absorb damage, but its magic remains. Whenever you cast an abjuration spell of 1st level or higher, the ward regains a number of hit points equal to twice the level of the spell. Once you create the ward, you can't create it again until you finish a long rest. So this is your bread and butter.
Yep, this is kind of your only thing.
Yep.
How?
It has
I've never-
synergies.
Yeah, how
Yes.
good is this? Let's see.
Okay.
Isn't Mage Armor something you start the day with?
Is Mage Armor
and-
abjuration?
I believe so.
It has to be.
So normally you start the day with casting yourself a Mage Armor on yourself, and that gives yourself your
Yes,
first
it's
initial
abjuration.
ward.
Word again?
The word is twice your wizard level,
Level.
plus intelligence mod.
And it doesn't matter what level spell you cast. So
The
first level
spell
spells are the
levels are
most
relevant.
efficient.
Good. Okay.
Correct.
So if you really want to just recharge your ward, you can always just cast another Mage Armor.
Yeah, whenever you cast an abjuration spell of 1st level or higher, the ward regains hit points equal to twice the level of the spell. So, if you are casting abjuration spells after, you are charging your ward, and we'll talk about this. At 6th level, when a creature you can see within 30 feet of you takes damage, you can use your reaction to cause your Arcane Ward to absorb that damage. If the damage reduces the ward to 0 hit points, the warded creature takes any remaining damage. So this is just you can use your ward to block people.
Yeah,
Block 4
it's
people.
a decent feature, but we'll see how much you're actually going to be able to block, and if you don't want to just use that for yourself.
And beginning at 10th level, when you cast an abjuration spell that requires you to make an ability check as a part of casting that spell, as in counterspell and dispel magic. Is counterspell an abjuration spell? I guess
Yes, it is. That
That's
will be
nuts.
super relevant for the 10th or 14th level feature. Yeah.
You add your proficiency bonus to that ability check, and at 14th level, you have advantage on saving throws against spells and resistance to the damage of spells. Cool.
Counterspell, yeah, stupid.
Counterspell,
Yeah.
stinky.
I don't like it. Anyway, yeah, it's good if you are fighting enemies that
Facing
can
spellcasters,
cast
yeah.
spells, which is more rare than.
I think fighting spellcasters is going to depend on the game. There are many times where you will encounter spells, even from spellcasters necessarily. Like a lot of higher level creatures will have like innate spellcasting, but they will also have attacks that are AoE that are not spellcasting, which is annoying.
Yeah, and you can't counterspell those.
And you're not resistant to the damage of those. Like, I would say, in general, if you're playing a wizard decently, spells coming your way are the major concern that you'll have in terms of like the kind of damage you'll be taking. But
until 14th level.
Right. And that, so at 14th level, you just kind of get a little boost against that, which, I mean, like,
Pretty big boost against specifically that.
specifically spells, yes. Like, this actually, this class is like really geared towards being an anti-magic class more than a magic class, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
If that spell resistance was like on like a melee person, holy shit. At lower levels usually, but like advantage on all saving throws against all spells. It's not effects though, just spells.
Yeah. So how useful is this? Yeah.
We really have to analyze
look at the spells.
analyze Arcane Ward, because typically the ward is somewhere between like 5 and 45 hit points, depending on like level 1 to like level 20.
Yeah. I mean, like at second level, you know, as a wizard, you'll have 6 plus 4 is 10, and then like maybe your con mod is like 2 or something, so like 14 hit points. If you cast a first level spell, you're getting like a pretty significant boost to your survival. It's like anywhere from like 30 to 50 to 70% of your HP, depending on how bad your con is.
More HP on your wizard is actually pretty substantial, so they don't just die.
More HP
So
is always good, and the nice thing about the ward is that it's not like it's something where you have to cast it like reactively at the start of a fight. It's like you start the day and then you cast like Mage Armor or something, or even like you ritual cast Alarm and you get this, right?
That's true. Oh, that's a good one actually, because that'll cost you nothing.
It costs you nothing, yeah. So you lose nothing by doing that.
So you start out with a chunkier amount of hit points. The tiny amount of regen on it, I'm pretty sure you will get almost no value out of. I feel like.
I think
the regen.
I think the regen is. I'd have to look at this spells though. Is the problem?
Whenever you cast an abjuration spell at first level or higher, it regains hit points equal to twice the spell level. I feel like high level abjuration spells are pretty rare. So I mostly just think of it as the starting hit points, I think.
School of Magic abjuration.
No, wait.
But I could be wrong about that. I'm going off memory right now.
So there, I mean,
I see. You're right.
I feel like
once it's down, it's kind of down.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Right?
So you start with a pretty chunky shield, but recharging it is generally going to be the problem. However,
this one's for long rest for the most part.
However, there are certain spells that are fairly relevant, not maybe in combat, but like counter spell is a 3rd level spell, right? So if you're counter spelling,
shielding is a big one.
Shield
but the problem
is one you only regain 2
hit points.
Woo! Shield and absorb elements.
Even like those two are absorb elements from. It's gonna happen, but like 2 hit points. It's really just like a tiny little bonus. Even counterspell that's 6 hit points, and you're not counterspelling that often.
Yeah. So I think this is probably the big weakness, is that there just really actually aren't that many abjuration spells in the game.
Yeah, that you want to cast in the moment in combat outside of maybe
like,
counterspell. Even
a lot of the spells that you would cast,
invulnerability, anti-magic field would be like,
both of those, like Globe of Invulnerability. If you're casting that, who cares about the hit points? You're invulnerable now.
Oh, but guys, the stone skin.
If you're casting 9th level Invulnerability, like.
Yeah,
you're not gonna take damage. So
I mean,
well,
like
Globe of Invulnerability is a bit lower level, but
there are some decent spells, but like in general, you're not really gonna be recharging unless it's in the middle of the day, right? If you're if you're taking like an hour out of your day to cast like 6 alarms, you can probably just regen your ward between fights.
Wait,
You
that's
can
so
cast Private Sanctum.
Oh my god.
But I mean,
amazing.
for actual like useful spells like Banishment, wizards get Banishment, right?
Probably.
Yeah, they do. Banishment is probably the highest level abjuration spell you'll be casting for most of the game. And that would give you 8 hit points.
So while like Sean said, the recharging feature is not great. You can kind of exploit it with just like spamming alarms free, or of course there's the multi-class to get infinite Mage Armor spam from an invocation on Warlock, but that would be kind of cheesy, and we don't really
Oh
want
my
to.
god.
But like what we can look at this wizard as is it's actually a wizard that starts out with a D10 hit die, and it's actually pretty close to a D12 hit die in value.
That's
And
pretty
if you
good,
just
actually.
if you ignore the second level feature and the projected ward feature, like just ignore those until 10th level and just say, I'm a wizard with a D12 hit die, that's pretty good.
The biggest weakness of wizards
Is
their,
HP.
is their minuscule HP pool and complete lack of healing. So
Yeah.
you know what? You were right about that.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
does help.
yeah, I was gonna say, in a way, this is like a wizard that can heal a certain amount of like HP for himself.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that makes it actually pretty decent.
I kind of agree.
The 6th level feature is useful if they attack your healer. Don't
Pretty
be
much
greedy
useless.
If they attack your frontliner, yeah, please be greedy
Yeah,
with
this
it.
is. I was gonna say
You
this
need
is
those
this is for
HP.
you. This is for you. You're the protected Mr. President. Like
You're the
Yeah.
squishy. Yeah, exactly.
this class is like putting a shield, like a rechargeable shield on Bastion.
All right. So, where would the first wizard go then?
Slightly above average, I would say.
I would also agree.
For now.
I was thinking like B.
B,
Yeah, I'll stick with
Yeah. Okay.
B for
good.
but abjuration.
And like always, we'll probably shift things around later.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually kind of like abjuration. It obviously like what I did was not optimal. I played the abjuration wizard that just ran into the front line, grappled, and then would cast a spell that has no save and just hold somebody in it.
Gotcha.
Which was awful because it took like 4 turns to get online. But then you could really just hold somebody in a meat grinder.
Oh,
That's fair.
God.
And you know, the shield spell restoring 2 hit points is more valuable at level 1 and 2 than it is at level 20, but it's still pretty good value early on.
It's still good value early on, but it's also like just a little nice bonus you get on a spell that you will be casting anyway. And like most abjuration spells are reactions, so it's basically just like as a reaction, like, you know, you gain 5 AC and 2 hit points. You'll take that.
Yeah.
Obviously, you can also cast absorb elements, so you really have your bases covered.
You'll probably take both.
You will probably be the most survivable wizard, and a wizard being survivable is one of the most valuable things.
Yeah, because like if you look at base wizard, honestly, I think like 90% of their power just comes from being a wizard.
Being a wizard, yes.
So if you just take base wizard and add some hit points and eventually some spell resistance and also some you can spell a bit better. Yeah.
I think a good way to look at this is though on our tier list, base wizard would be F tier because if a wizard with no subclass is by default F tier.
True.
So all these subclasses are boosting them up to F tier. I'm curious what wizards will stay in F tier.
God, you're right. That's a really funny way to think about it. Okay.
Artificer, starting at 2nd level, you can produce. Wait, hold on, 1 second.
It really is Unearthed Arcana 1. Oh my god.
That's amazing.
Oh, that's incredible.
I will say also one kind of slightly nice thing about Artificer. Artificer feels to me like a wizard that would be really good for subclassing, especially into Warlock.
You mean Abjuration?
What? Abjuration wizard, yeah.
Yeah. Abjuration is definitely a Warlock subclassy thing.
Oh, you get it all at 2?
Well, okay, so here's something that here's something to consider, right? Is this Arcane Ward is not is not temporary hit points.
Yeah, it's a
It
separate
stacks with
entity
anything,
entirely.
right? So, for instance, if you have Armor of Agathis up, you can eat through the ward's hit points, do damage with your
Yeah.
spike damage. You can eat through your Armor of Agathis hit points, do some damage. You cast an Armor of Agathis. I'm pretty sure it's an abjuration spell.
Yeah, I read about that one actually. That's another big synergy. That one's
Anyway.
a fun one.
Straight up thought we did wizards already. Oh no, wizards we saved for second to last because we don't know what the fuck artificers do. Speaking of,
Not
incorrect artificer.
Old school artificer.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is from the first Unearthed Arcana, and it's probably gonna be pretty janky. As you spend 10 minutes focusing your magic on a vial of mundane water and expend a spell slot to transform it into a potion. Once you have expended a spell slot to create a potion, you cannot regain that slot until the potion is consumed or after 1 week, at which time the potion loses its effectiveness. You can create up to 3 potions at a time. Creating a 4th potion causes the oldest currently active one to immediately lose its potency. If that potion has been consumed, its effect ends immediately. The spell slot you expend determines the type of potion you can create, etc., etc. There's rules for potions somewhere.
Interesting. Oh, but it just gives us a nice table here.
Yes. So you basically, because they're these are potions in the DMG.
What does the growth potion do?
I think it
Makes you bigger,
grow.
enlarge.
Yeah, you gain the enlarge effect of the enlarge reduce spell for 1d4 hours, no concentration required.
Hell yeah!
You get big.
That actually seems pretty good, right?
not bad.
Because
Is it pre-buff?
I would say yeah. So enlarge reduce adds like a d4 of damage, right?
That's right.
And
Early levels, it's...
no concentration required for 1d4 hours. Like you can pre-buff with this. It actually seems really good, right? Like we were talking about how the brute
no
1d4
concentration
die.
is really strong.
It has no scaling, but it's good at low levels. That's what I'll say about it.
This is actually a wizard that has out of combat healing, by the way.
Huh.
Yes, you're right. You're right. They gave them healing potions. You can get. Okay, I think I know why they didn't print this.
Yeah,
it's kind of strong.
It's way too strong to be able to make potions.
No concentration and invisibility.
Exactly.
And you could just make 3 of those, and just like take a rest, and you've used no spell slots, and you just have those. This is gonna be strong. We'll see how.
I guess so. Visibility is not the strongest spell, though.
No, that's true.
To have instead of
invisibility is not the strongest spell because it breaks, obviously. But like, you know, using a 4th level spell slot to create potion of resistance seems pretty good.
Well, you can actually look at this at that other Witherbloom, I believe, would give you 3 potions of resistance.
Oh, you're right. No, never mind.
Yeah,
I think it's mostly the growth or healing. You're really nuts at early game.
Yeah.
I think this actually depends a lot on how wealth is handled in your campaign. Because if you could just buy as many potions as you want based on the campaign, then you're kind of obsolete if you just have the money for it. But if money is actually, like, if you can't just buy potions willy-nilly, then this has significant value.
I do think potions being available is like widely available is more of a niche thing, though.
Yeah, you think so? Hard to say.
I would say in general, I think beyond buying healing and like healing potions, I think it will be. We're looking at Artificer, the lens of wizard options, Renaissance. So this is the original iteration of the Artificer, which is an Unearthed Arcana version of the wizard archetype, right? They later expanded it into its own class that has its own subclasses. So we will rank this as a wizard, and then when we get to artificers, we will rank the artificer subclasses against each other and not against wizards.
Yeah, because this is actually a wizard.
Technically a wizard, yes.
Despite the name, this is a wizard.
Can you make any spell into a potion? No. So you can make specific potions.
You can. You might be able to do that with scrolls, though.
Yeah, so let's see. Second level, you can tap into your reserves of magical energy to create spell scrolls. You can use your Arcane Recovery ability to create a scroll instead of regaining expended spell slots. That's kind of janky, all right?
Wait,
you must finish a short rest, then spend 10 minutes with parchment, quill, and ink to create a spell scroll containing one spell chosen from those you know. Subtract the spell's level from the total levels worth of slots you regain using Arcane Recovery. This reduction to your Arcane Recovery applies until you use the scroll until you finish a long rest. It's super janky.
Why would they use the Arcane Recovery feature for this? They could have just given it its own number of uses.
I don't know.
Because unless I'm reading this
functionally, right? It makes you one spell of higher level or maybe a couple of lower level, right?
They said it reduces your Arcane Recovery.
Arcane Recovery is your short rest. You get some spell slots back.
Yes.
They just want you to sacrifice that to make a scroll. But that seems weird to me because wouldn't you just be making scrolls out of combat anyway? This
reduction to your Arcane Recovery applies until you use the scroll and then finish a long rest. So to make it equivalent power level, it would be you would make the spell scroll and then you would lose that spell slot until you finish a long rest, until you use the spell scroll, which would be pointless. So this basically transforms your Arcane Recovery into more spell slots.
I think the idea here is they wanted to you could pick spells you haven't prepared. Oh, I guess that's true. You could also it is a very flexible feature, despite how jankily it engages with the mechanics. Like, it's really trying to bolt some stuff off of like mechanics that don't need to be expanded upon, right?
It's turning Arcane Recovery into a resource,
right,
in and of itself, rather than Arcane Recovery as a way to regain spell slots.
I'm just saying, like, they could have just given this thing a number of uses, or they could have given this thing the same
I think they should have. They probably should have
True.
given it its own a thing. But I can see
you
why
can't
they
use
did it.
Arcane Recovery while you're making scrolls.
Exactly.
To be clear, I also do not agree with this decision because it engages with a mechanic in a way that it makes it much harder to keep track of, which I'm always against.
Oh god, yeah.
But like, for instance, this is like if you wanted to make one spell of the highest level that you could if your Arcane Recovery is, I believe, like half your wizard level with those spell slots, or you wanted to make like 3 first level spell slot scrolls, right? I think, because I believe you can make as many spell scrolls as you can with your Arcane Recovery feature.
Seems like it.
How do you imagine rankings will change if/when 5.x potentially removes short rests from features in gameplay? That's interesting. Are they removing short rests?
What?
That sounds interesting. I mean, it would completely change the dynamic of play, I think. But I don't know. Maybe more people play like us than we think, where like you really just take long rest all the time. This is actually something that I've kind of started to enjoy about the other game that we've been playing that I won't name, I think, because we'll die if we do.
Yes. A minute.
Where it's it really encourages you to take like longer periods of downtime. So let's see. Based on how all the Arcana has making changes based on proficiency bonus, phasing out short features. Oh, I guess that's true. Yeah. I think it would be interesting. I also think it would have to depend on what they would have to like radically change. I think some of the design of some of the classes, because fighters get all of their shit back on short rests. So like you'd shaft fighters a lot more if you didn't change how they worked.
They would probably change them.
Short rests.
That was
the only thing that you can't really phase out for short rests, in my opinion, is resource acquisition spells, because by I guess you could if you just gave them those resources straight up, but stuff like Arcane Recovery wouldn't really make sense to base off proficiency, I think. Unless you just are willing to just give wizards more spell slots in combat.
Yeah,
I think a lot of
have
features that were
everything
charged.
else is fine.
I think a lot of features that were charged on short rest, you could just literally just like double or triple the amount of uses and make it long rest.
That's probably true. I do think that
Yeah.
there is some value in having, for instance, like Action Surge be a short rest recharge, but I would have to see how they would change it, because
I wouldn't mind just having like 3 times as many acid surge, but it's long rest.
I think so too, and I also think that kind of system is just a lot more flexible.
And you can be
just
careful
because,
with your
like,
resources.
right, because it's it lets you choose how to use resources more than letting the pace of the party dictate that, right?
Yeah.
Because like the problem with taking short rest is always like your warlock and fighter are like, I want to take a short rest, and your wizard's like, fuck off, die. And you're like, Jesus, okay.
Man, you've got some really aggressive wizards in your party.
Listen, y'all did that to me in our last. I'm like, let's take a short rest, so they don't get away. They got away.
Yeah, I'm glad they got away. It was a good decision. I stand by that decision.
Fine, it was just predictable.
Yeah, it was a good thing. It worked out.
Uh-huh.
Do you think there's risk incentivizing the one fight per day attitude? I think that's true. I think there is some pacing reward to be had in having short rests be available. I think if they're going to change short rests, like, I don't know. I'm of two minds, and I would have to see how they do it. It's interesting though. I guess that's fair. But would it really make sense narratively to not have short rests anymore? It's like, okay, guys, we're just gonna keep going.
Yeah, that's
I don't know if it
true.
would actually, because like I'm very injured, but we gotta keep going. Can we just like take a moment to lick our wounds? No.
No, 8 hours now. I don't know. They'd have to change how some of the systems work for sure. Because right now
They might make it only for HP.
Yeah.
Really, by phase out, maybe it's just they won't tie other resources to
tie
short
other
rests
resources to
nearly
it.
as much
I think that
besides HP.
would make sense. I guess
They-
the question
they've-
is like, would you
Listen,
how would the system work if you had more of a resource available but like a longer recharge time on it, right? Like Dan said, like more uses, but
I mean, they've already basically done that with the new stuff, and it's been like objectively better. I'm always happy when they tie it. All of the recent stuff. I'm always thrilled when they tie it to proficiency instead of once per short rest.
I would have
way
to
better
I would have
that
to
way.
look at the two classes that are most affected by short rests, right?
Yeah,
have to
but
look at
maybe
fighters
those are
and
the ones you
monks.
don't change. Is my point. Anyway.
All right. So, spell scrolls.
Spells. So effectively, how many scrolls are you having right now at level 2? Like
At level 2, you get one spell scroll because you
level one.
you can make a level 1 spell scroll.
At level 3,
got it.
one spell scroll, if I recall. Unless Arcane Recovery is the one that's rounded up.
How much is the spell recovery thing feature?
I think
Half your wizard level
It's-
rounded up or down. I
hold
forget.
on. It's either half your level rounded up, and it's the only feature that does that, or it's half your.
Or it's-
it is rounded up.
Yeah, this is the one.
This is the one.
Wow.
It's the one feature in the game that rounds up, which
Yes.
sucks actually, because like later they realized, oh, we can just say minimum 1.
Yeah.
But no, wizards have to be special boys.
So
Anyway,
like for instance, at 10th level, what is your total number of spell scroll levels that you can
so
take?
you have 5 spell scroll
5.
levels at 10th level.
Okay, so you can make like a 3rd level spell scroll and like 2 first level spell scrolls.
Exactly.
And then of course you have no arcane recovery feature, but like you want to make spell scrolls more cool.
But also, like, I feel like, yeah, in general, I think
More
spell scrolls
effective.
might be much better.
Because spell
in
scrolls
a
you can use
certain way.
during that fight. Arcane recovery lets you get them for next fight. Like
Right. This
so
is
it is just directly better.
It's like it's literally just bolting more spell slots onto
Yeah.
you. But
Unless-
you prepare them like Pathfinder wizards do.
Yes.
Yeah. The only thing that
you
would be
said the
bad
word.
is if you go a long while without using these spell scrolls, you're like, no, I'll save them for next fight. You're basically just going that while without having the arcane recovery feature.
Yeah, but to be fair, like we said with short rest, like how many short rests are you taking? Like 1?
Yeah.
How many spell
Well-
slots do you actually want to recover in that one? I mean,
It's true.
like I think you're trading you're like side grading your flexibility, right? because like the thing about spell scrolls for your arcane whatever, right? Your arcane recovery is you're essentially getting like spell slot levels equal to half your wizard level, and you can use them on kind of whatever, right? Like you could I think you could prep like a fireball or something, but I think the more handy use would just be to like pop some utility spells in there and then just like blast away in the middle of combat and just not think about like that, right? Because sometimes you're well, what if?
I actually almost think it's the reverse. I think.
Oh, do you think so?
I actually think
you want to burn
because of the way
them.
you want to go through them as quick as possible. So you should put your most commonly used spells in the spell scrolls.
As long as there's no additional cost, like money-wise, to making these scrolls. Yeah, because these recharge.
With some downtime.
Yeah. I'd probably. Oh, does it matter?
You wonder how many.
It's one short rest to make one scroll. So if you want to make 3 spells, you have to take 3 short rests.
Well, then maybe you don't want to burn through them. That's actually rough.
If you don't have the downtime for this, then just put some utility stuff.
Yeah. This is also the annoying thing, right? Is that you have to actually finish a short rest. It says right here.
Yeah.
That is a little annoying.
This subclass is going to take forever to rate, but it's a special case, so I'm not too worried about it. I have a question. Genuine question, and I know that this varies by level. How often, as a wizard, do you feel constrained by your spell slot quantity?
Not very often.
I always feel like there's I'm not limited by spell slots except at early levels when I play wizard, and that's surprising because it's like the biggest, most powerful resource in the game.
Shocking,
but they go out of their way to limit you on normally, and so you would expect it to be a big change if you to expand that limit. But yeah, you're not always limited by spell slots.
Shocking as it may be, I think it's not the amount of spell slots that is the benefit here. I think it's not having to prepare those spells.
Oh. It's just having more spells and flexibility.
Right? Like, if you're going to, for instance, think about, right, like you have a spell that you want to cast, and you're likely going to cast it once and never going to have to cast it again, but it's nice to have, right? Those, like, really annoying spells. You know what I mean?
A counterspell.
Okay, different annoying, but yeah.
Really annoying spells.
A lot of UAs are just 1 minute concentration for things like cleric features, which you've seen speculation potentially being the new way to spend hit dice. Oh, interesting. I could see.
I don't remember. I don't remember Wizard having that issue of just like annoying niche spells. I feel like they have a wide enough array that I never felt super constrained of. Fuck, I wish I had this one spell.
You know what I do feel like sometimes? Fuck, I wish I had 2 more fireballs.
All right, fair enough. You're probably just gonna pop these on fireballs, 6th level. Just prep a fireball and call it a day. I think you might be right about that.
I mean, you're going from 2 fireballs to 3 fireballs.
All right. So what's the value of an extra fireball? And I'd say pretty fucking high, actually.
Pretty good.
Pretty fucking high, right up until around level 10. In which case, the value.
Is there a sea invisibility spell in the game? There is a sea invisibility spell in the game.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's super. But listen to what Sean said. Like, the fireball does drop off in value. Extra fireball drops off hard.
It eventually drops to basically 0.
Yeah, it gets close to 0.
But does it drop off to 0 at the band of play that most people play, which is 16?
At level 20, is Arcane Recovery limited? Like, can Arcane Recovery give you another 9th level spell to let you do 2 9th level
5th
spells?
or lower.
It would.
Okay, good.
I'm going off memory, but I'm pretty sure.
Wait, hang on, hold on. That might not apply to this feature.
You think so? How does the wording work?
I'm sure it words it saying
once per day. Okay, so Arcane Recovery is once per day when you finish a short rest, you can choose expended spell slots to recover. Spell slots have a combined level that is equal to or less than half your wizard rounded up, but none of the slots can be 6th level or higher. However, does the Artificer make that? And I don't think that it does.
We're gonna have to rate it based on what I'm sure is a buggy wording.
No, I think if it doesn't explicitly limit you.
Arcane
Then-
Recovery has a specific limitation, but only for spell slots, not spell slot level. Infused
spell
Scrolls
you know.
does not say that it has that limitation.
Here's your
You
scroll
can
of
prep
wish.
another 9th level spell.
Oh my
That's
god.
gross.
Well, now this is broken, and I doubt they intended it, but
That's
how
only
it is.
that is
broken
only
high
at
levels.
18th level or higher, right?
Yeah.
yes,
Yes.
it's functionally so far up there, and it's
17
like
maybe.
it's not even really realistically speaking that game breaking at 18th level, because like everything is game breaking at 18th level, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, what is the value of being able to cast one more meteor swarm when like combat doesn't even last that many turns anymore?
Oh, listen.
I think it would be
Meteor
pretty
Swarm
great, to be
Wish
honest.
is absolutely fucking broken, and we
Oh.
have seen that in our campaigns when we get feats that give us fucking more 9th level spell slots. It's always
you know,
incredible.
we valued that stupid cleric that got wizard 9th level spells pretty highly. Just this is a lot better than that.
Yeah.
I guess that's true, but that was a cleric.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my God.
The power. This is obviously going to be weighed down because you get it so late. But I do think at 17th level, you have twice as many 9th level spells than the other wizard. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's
18th level,
that's
yeah,
true.
it's bad shit. That's absolutely
And
insane.
then if you
Also
get a
rounds up.
moon, you can have more.
Doesn't it round up so it's 17th level?
Ooh, you're right.
You know what?
You are
Actually,
correct.
this wow. I mean, it's interesting. Like with this, you could make a wizard that has functionally 4 9th level spell slots
With the
With the
boons. Yeah, I know.
Wow.
with the 2
Oh.
boons. Yeah, it's gross. Okay, all right. What are the
That was
features
the
we got here?
second. That was the second level
Oh
features.
god. Yeah.
Actually, that was the other 2nd level feature. Oh, you said 2nd level features.
I did pluralize it for that reason, but yeah.
Mhm.
All right, 6th level, 10 minutes. Focus your magic on a mundane weapon, suit of armor, shield, or bundle of 20 pieces of ammunition. Expend a spell slot. The magic item retains enhancement for 8 hours or until used. You infuse, in the case of magic ammunition, it's not like you swing your 1+1 weapon once it hits and it loses the enchantment.
Oh,
of
and this one,
movement
yeah, this one's only 8 hours. Okay.
You can only infuse 1 item at a time. If you infuse a second, the first immediately loses potency. Once you expend a spell slot in this way, you can't regain that slot until the item becomes non-magical. Okay, 2nd level spell slot. You can infuse 20 pieces of ammunition to make it +1.
Uh-huh.
3rd level, you can make a +1 weapon or +1 shield. 4th level, +1 armor. 5th levels, +2 weapon or +2 ammunition, 20 pieces. 6th level, +2 armor.
I gotta say the armor ones here, and especially that shield one, because that's
the
really
shield
early
one
level.
is nuts.
The shield one's so good. Like the weapon ones I'm not very enthused about, to be honest. But like armor is very valuable. I think the reference point for weapon rarity is like if a +1 weapon is rare, then a +1 armor is very rare. Like AC, it gives 1 AC gives 1 more rarity level above like one more like weapon thing. Our AC is really powerful.
I
Yeah. Especially if you don't have armor when you get to like those 4th levels. I don't know if you're gonna want to spend that, but it is strong.
I think at low levels in particular, and even some medium levels, I would rather have another fireball than a +1 shield.
It's true, but
The
I-
third
at
level
later
like,
levels,
there is
I think-
very harsh when you
Yeah.
get this feature.
I think at later levels, you will very easily just why not give some people some +1 armor. That is assuming they don't already have it though.
Yes,
Yeah.
I think this runs into a couple of problems, which is that
A money problem.
at the level that you get
No.
6th level spell slots, you don't really want to be spending your new shiny 6th level spell slot on +2 armor for another one of your friends,
No.
even if it's a very strong numerical bonus. It's like at that point, I really would just rather cast Shield of Faith. You know, it's like
Shield
if
of
you
Faith
really
is the
want
first
+2
level
+2
one.
AC that badly.
Yeah.
The cost here is it's pretty rough.
Yeah, it's really high, and by the time it's trivial, you'll probably already have magic weapons. And if you're in a game that doesn't give you magic weapons at 18th level, you should leave that game and play something else. Like, straight up, what the fuck is the point? Right?
I know you love your magic weapons.
Yeah. For anyone watching, Josh really enjoys magical weapons.
No,
fun
listen,
fact.
I like my magic weapons, but I also think that having magic weapons by the last tier of play is expected. It should be expected.
Yeah, probably. Unless you're playing some sort of hardcore campaign, then yeah, I completely.
And I mean,
agree.
like, if that's what you're into, like, I guess go for it. That's your prerogative. But like,
imagine a
geez.
campaign where the best weapon you'll ever get is a silver weapon.
All right, 10th level.
That's a nightmare campaign.
Starting at 10th level, you can create a second magic weapon or suit of armor, shield, bundle of ammunition. Attempting to infuse a third item causes the oldest one to immediately lose its potency. You can also create one additional potion or scroll using infused potions or infused scrolls. Wait, can you only make
were
one
we limited by
What is
scrolls?
the limit then?
I thought potions had a limit of 3.
Yeah,
and
scrolls
had
don't have a
nowhere.
limit. They just fucking forgot.
Oh my god, they just wrote it wrong. Are you sure? Like, is this just like them fucking up?
Yeah, I've read this a couple times. You've heard that despite what game says for math for enemies, still assume you get magic gear, but you're not sure how true that is. So here's the thing, right? Is that the game has to assume that you get magic gear, especially for your martial classes, because enemies start becoming resistant to bludgeoning, slashing, piercing damage from non-magical weapons. Some enemies are immune to it. So, like, if you have a fighter and you don't give them a magic weapon, they don't get to play the game anymore.
Yeah.
Also, our food is here, but I'd rather finish this.
Finish this.
This one first.
Yeah. So those features are I think pretty lackluster. I think the scroll one doesn't really make sense to me. It seemed like it was unlimited before anyway.
Yes.
But the potion one more potion has some value, but that's not a good feature.
By then, it's no value.
By 10th level, you don't really care about any of this. I mean, like, you'll take the growth potion. You've moved beyond the need for fighters. That's true. The all wizard party at 17th level is real. It can hurt you.
It's so fucking terrifying. Trust me.
This does actually make that growth permanently relevant. Like, you will be using growth potions till 20th level just for fun.
Isn't that funny? Yeah, I was gonna say, like, your fighter will forget. Your fighter will actually forget that they're normal sized.
Oh, I love it.
5e can't decide if they want to maintain the magic items light avenue or stick with the conventional attraction of loot and items that people yearn for with TRPG. Yeah, and it's weird because they should just lean into the loot because that's how the game works. Like, it is bizarre to me that they would try to make any sort of concessions towards the people that are, like, obsessed with like, quote-unquote realism. They're like, no, orcs don't exist in my game. It's only humans, gritty humans, and nobody has magic weapon. And it's like, well, okay, why are we playing D&D anymore? Like, do you want to go play Warhammer? Let's go play Warhammer.
Yeah, I mean, I encourage people to make tailor settings to their choice, but, like, I don't want it to be a detriment to the actual system for everyone else.
Exactly, right? Like, go do that shit on your own time. Like, D&D is basically like, it's like fantasy Borderlands.
Loot gremlining.
Yeah. Anyway, 14th level, you can create a single magic item from the magic item tables A and B in the Dungeon Master's Guide. God, these another kind of one was so janky. They're like, refer to sub-article 1A in page 56 of the DMG.
Are you going to open up that table?
I am going to open up the table. Let's see. Magic item table A, bag of holding, drift globe, potion of climbing, potion of healing, potion of greater healing, spell scroll cantrip, spell scroll first level, spell scroll second level. Magic item table B, alchemy jug, ammunition +1, bag of holding, cap of water breathing, cloak of the manta ray, drift globe, dust of disappearance,
I don't
dust
know
of
if you need
dryness,
to read
dust
every
of sneezing
single
and
one.
choking, elemental gem, goggle
It's
of
fine. I like this.
helm of comprehending
I'm gonna
languages,
go get my food.
immovable rod, S tier class,
Yes.
instant S tier class.
These things are not powerful enough that I give this much power. A 4th level spell scroll, sure, you're getting another 4th level spell or whatever, or another fireball at 3rd level or whatever. But that's not relevant at 14th level anymore.
Not really. You love 5e, but it's not much of a read and go system. No, people always say, like, oh, 5e is, like, really easy to pick up and play, and it's like, it's really not. like if your DM knows what they're doing, then like it's easy to play the game. But like it's actually really hard to like understand how the system works. I think a lot of people that play a lot of D&D still don't actually know how the system works.
So this last feature, a lot of these potions, I guess, there's some fun ones here. Hill Giant Strength, but I'm pretty sure that one's just like 21 strength, or 23. It's not even that impactful.
Hill Giant is 21. You're right. Wow.
Yeah.
Functionally worthless.
Like these are not impactful at 14th level unless I'm missing something.
Really.
Like sure, like make a Cloak of the Manta Ray. Do you get to keep it forever?
Let's see.
Yeah, how long do these last?
Yeah, they're permanent. You can just make magic items. It just takes you a week.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy this feature, but this is not a very high on the power level at all.
Yes, it's easy for players because it was the bulk of planning and knowledge on the DM. Exactly, it's extremely DM heavy, which is, to be fair, what D&D has always been like. But it sometimes tries to pretend like it isn't, which I think is frustrating. Like, this isn't obviously to put me off anyone trying to DM if they've never done it. I think it's very rewarding and very fun, and not as difficult as people think it is, but in different ways than they think. Like, people always say, oh, DMing is hard because of this. And it's like, no, it's hard because of this.
I think if once you know the rules, and like, if you've played as long as other people, you can know the rules. It doesn't take too long. And the players can even help you with the rules, so it's not even that big of a deal. It's really just, can you improvise?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about D&D is as long as you're familiar with the number system, which obviously we are so disgustingly intimately familiar with, like, I could really just pull an entire monster stat block out of my brain if I wanted to for most levels. Like, yeah, there's probably this number, probably this much damage.
So,
Anyway.
how about we rate this? Because I think early game, this has some fun value. Potions are cool, whatever.
The potions are actually really value early game. I think easily within the band of play that you're playing, like up to 9th level, that growth potion is still going to be providing like a decent amount of value.
And then 9th level's about the time where you're starting to not care as much about your extra fireball. It still has value. It's less. But then the class really kind of caves up until 17th level, where you get
at which point you just kind of get a weird sudden spike. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I mean, another 8th level spell at 50th level, another max level spell at all levels.
Yeah, actually.
Yes, Keeters, we've only done one subclass.
I'm sorry. We're quite slow.
It's because we hit immediately the fucking worst one to try to rank.
Don't make fun of us.
Listen.
We're thorough.
This subclass was so janky they turned it into its own class.
We had to figure out how this fucking Artificer knockoff worked first, okay?
We're trying our best.
That said, I don't know if we're gonna get through half. I like your let's stop at 8. Let's see how long 8 takes and go from there. Plan.
Yes.
We'll see.
So yeah, this might be a 3-parter even.
It would be fitting if nothing
I think
else.
that Artificer is just like numerically pretty strong. Like I think again, it's one of those. It's one of those
max
classes.
level spell slot at every level. Like
it's just another one of those like classes that is like does what the base class does, but like harder, faster, stronger, better. But also when you do that on a wizard, it's like you're like turbocharging it.
Like I would actually be pretty fucking happy. Is like every time you get a new level of spell slot, like, oh boy, this is my new most powerful spell. You get another one. From this.
You just get 2. I would be pretty damn happy with that.
That's like, really good.
Yeah.
The value of that extra fireball really is gonna carry you for most of the game. Now,
and then later levels, I'm sure there's other spells you can think of.
Yeah, listen, when you get a new spell slot level, it's always fun, and then you get like just more another like.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now this is kind of an idle question.
More Walls
but
of Force is always nice.
True.
Can you think off the top of your head how many times we've hit 20th level?
Fucking like 5. I don't know.
It's actually a really easy way to do this. 20th level.
Why are you asking this? It's gonna take so long.
20th
level. Not 20th level. 20th level. You're right. I don't know. I'm not gonna go through all of these, but why do you ask?
Because I'm like I said, most people are not going to reach 20th level. We're extremely abnormal.
Yes, but like this feature is very good.
really good
at all levels.
Yeah, I think does it
I think-
fall off?
I think it spikes at fireball level and then it spikes again at 9th level, and I can't really think of other levels where it's that fantastic. Like even Wall of Force, an extra Wall of Force is not as impactful as
No, I think Wall of
another-
Force is one of the things where one is done.
at 5th level. At 5th
Fair.
level, another fireball is a lot more impactful than at 9th level another Wall of Force, because Wall of Force is not something you spam.
Was Wall of Force concentration?
Yes.
Okay.
That's why it's not as impactful.
Yeah, I was gonna say it'd be really funny if you could just build a fortress of force.
Oh,
Yeah, a lot of the more powerful higher level spells are concentration, which you're
Concentration,
happy to
yeah.
have another one. It's just not as impactful.
You can use it in 2 fights versus 1, but yeah,
Yeah,
it depends
yeah.
on the fight.
I mean,
Still
you're
a
just
great feature.
you are
Yeah.
a wizard, but more, which you will take as a wizard. Sincerely,
I mean, this might be a very strong class just for that. Actually, I don't know.
Well, that's my question. It's
I-
at least A tier. Is it S tier? It might be.
I think it is.
might be
I think it is.
fair.
I think you just get too much.
Disappointingly, I think it janked its way into S tier.
Yeah.
It did jank its way into S tier. Okay. All right. We're gonna get food.
I will
Brief break.
sit here. Wait, maybe
We've done 2 now. We're up to 2.
Oh baby,
My God, we
We're-
are just like an hour.
we're like 8% done, baby.
Don't worry, it won't be that bad. I was told the same about Fighter.
Alright, I'll be right back for a moment then as well.
Likewise.
Okay, we're hydrating. So I will do my best to not slurp in your ear holes, because that is an extremely unpleasant sound. However, because I think we're not really gonna get a ton of progress done on ranking while we're eating, if you just want to talk D&D, I'm here. Because I got let me tell you, I got thoughts about D&D.
Alright, I'm back. Okay. Wait, that's gonna be confusing, isn't it? I can't mute myself on stream. How do I do that? So now they'll just hear me talking to no one. God, just fucking damn it.
I'm back. What did I return to?
Josh is pranking me. Now Sean just laughed at nothing. Yeah, I put it. Oh god. I put a pizza in the oven, so now I'm gonna go check on that every once in a while.
Mhm. Sometimes I can still hear their voice.
Mm-hmm. What was our next one anyway? Let's see. Oh boy, that's gonna be a really
How
good
long are
one.
these gonna take? Let's see. Blightsinger won't take long at least.
S
I have
tier.
no fucking clue what chronergy is, but that sounds terrifying. Although time stuff is usually balanced to be weak. And then conjuration, divination, enchantment won't take long, and evocation.
Yes, I'm validated. Thank you.
Wait, that's so funny. Josh, you're gonna forget to unmute yourself on stream, like that time you forgot to unmute me on stream.
I have no way of knowing whether they're muted on stream or not, do I? God, maybe S tier is going to get too crowded right away. Maybe we got to shunt everything down.
Right? Maybe. I did actually show up on the stream audio for that one. Anyway,
Sean, can we just get some like preemptive? Can I get some preemptive thoughts from you
for Blightsinger?
Are you here, Sean?
Yeah, I'm here.
I just get some preemptive thoughts. What do you think is stronger, having a lot of AC from Bladesingering, or just having like a D12-esque hit die from Abjuration?
I kind of think
it has to be AC, right?
I kind of think AC. Yeah, because like at the very least you can absorb elements if it's a spell.
I think no damage is better than damage, but you can take it, right?
Yeah,
that's true.
Especially since you're likely to take just a billion attacks.
Blightsinger is vulnerable to AoEs and like
up until
spells, whatever.
Up until 10th level, yes.
In which case they get don't they get like a restore hit point
they
thing?
They get both HP and high AC.
Yeah. And meanwhile, Abjuration is kind of falling off the face of the earth.
By then, yeah.
I mean, they get their niche stuff, but
Peter,
like
we can't say the P word on stream.
Okay, but let me ask this: like, what's stronger on a wizard, an additional max level spell slot, or AC on the level of Blightsinger, or health on the level of Abjuration? Like, how are we overvaluing a max level spell slot, or like, is it really that strong? Is it stronger than Blightsinger AC?
Not at low levels, but maybe at high levels. Almost
at 5th level. Would you rather have another fireball or the ability to Bladesing?
Bladesing.
Really?
5th level? Oh, 5th level. Yes, actually. Hot take, 5th level. Because at 5th level, you get 2 3rd level spell slots. If you only had 1, I would say fireball, but the difference between 1 and 2 is greater than the difference between 2 and 3.
Not 100% more, it's 50% more.
Yeah. 2 fireballs is like almost enough most of the time.
I disagree.
I respect that. I respect that. Keep in mind, Dan, you have to frame this. I am a coward. Remember.
I get it. But like it makes sense because a dead wizard is doing nothing. It doesn't matter if you have extra spell slots. Can't fireball twice if you're dead. Yeah, exactly. So like I don't know. There's a lot of maybe I just think maybe we're overvaluing Artificer just because Wizard already has so many spell slots.
Yeah, well, that was my initial point, and I kind of agree. If it weren't for the 9th level thing, I would not want it in S, and I might not want it in S still, but I'm uncertain where other things go.
I will say this
the
though.
Potions we can't ignore though as well.
I was gonna say I think actually a lot of the power comes from the potions because they're essentially a way to cast spells in a way that does not require concentration, which is supremely flexible.
It is
And
very good.
imagine just putting 1d4 extra damage on all of your martial
Fighter.
classes. Like,
Yeah.
you probably have 2 martial classes in your party, right? Like, if considering a party of 4, characters, your party composition is going to be probably 2 casters, 2 melee, or it's going to be like, or like 2 casters, 2 martial, or it's going to be like 2 marshals, 1 hybrid, like a cleric even at lower levels, right? And like that D4 is valuable, right up until, really like it actually.
No, it's valuable forever.
Yeah, it's never like not valuable.
I'm always kind of about stuff like this, so I realize that I'm falling into my own trap a little bit here. But we're not rating the D4 against, would you be happy as a fighter if you got an extra D4? We're rating it as a wizard.
Oh no, we're rating a party.
But right, so this
D4,
is
right?
because it's a party.
It's a team game.
Well, I know. Like is a D4 for your fighter strong as a wizard? I think it's less strong as a wizard than as a fighter. I think wizards classes and features are stronger than a D4 on average.
I'm just thinking
give it to everyone.
Compare this to just a pure support class like Life Cleric. Like Life Cleric is good, even though it doesn't on its own it would suck ass.
No, the problem isn't the team. The problem is the power level of wizard.
No, but the thing is this does not use any action economy.
Right.
You're not sacrificing any power.
0 action economy and
how long does Enlarge Reduce last?
1d4 hours.
Oh wow. Okay.
No concentration, 1d4 hours, a first level spell slot.
Wait. Oh, because the potion lasts 1d4 hours?
Yep.
Yeah, holy shit. Because normally it lasts 1 minute.
Wait.
So literally you can pre-buff both probably of your martial classes. God, we'd have to look at Enlarge Reduce.
Is that right?
Really. What?
It's not a case of the potion exists for 1d4 hours. It's a case of the effect of the potion lasts.
Yes, when you drink this potion, you gain the enlarged effect of the enlarged reduce spell for 1d4 hours. Parentheses, no concentration required.
And you can make up to 3 potions at a time, so you can multi-buff.
Yeah,
wild.
1d4 hours, no concentration. Let's see.
It's giving if it's giving your marshals bless for damage for free forever.
Yep.
It's just
there's numerical
very
value.
few other classes that give that much in terms of bonuses at so little cost. So I kind of agree, actually.
Maybe it is fun in S.
I think so too, actually.
I really do think it's fine. I mean, we're probably gonna have to make just like a special wizards tier, but that's okay.
We'll see.
We'll solve that problem when we get there. I truly think that the disparity between the best wizards and the worst wizards is going to be really stark.
I don't know. Maybe we'll see. We haven't found any bad wizards yet because Abjuration I know is a lot of people value Abjuration pretty high, and we gave it a pretty decent rating.
The difference between the worst wizard and like our most powerful wizards is just batshit insane. Looking at you, Theurgy, way down there, third to last.
Oh God,
Week 2 or 3 is going to be really funny.
It's coming later.
We have Theurgy and Necromancy in that set.
Okay, well,
and Transmutation.
Now, let's move on to the hard part. How we're gonna compare Bladesinger to like Artificer and Abjuration, because I think we all know Blightsinger is very strong, but
Blightsinger is very strong, and it's so funny how concise the features are. It really fits on one.
Oh, they printed it in Tasha's.
Nice.
It did make it out of Skag.
Oh, that's lovely. That's good on it.
We should have an award that's like congratulations on making it out of Skag.
You've been.
I made it out of Skag, and all I got was this busted subclass.
The unskagging. Should I read it? All right. So they get a second level feature that replaces their shitty copy down spells feature. That's actually kind of nuts. It's very Hexblade-esque. When you adopt this tradition at second level, you gain proficiency with light armor. You get proficiency with 1 type of one-handed melee weapon of your choice. You also gain proficiency in the performance skill if you don't have it. So, I mean, that's great. Light armor normally would take a feat for a wizard to get, or they'd just be a dwarf. But that's good. And then you don't have to mage armor, basically. Blade Song. Starting at 2nd level, you can invoke an elven magic called the Blade Song, provided you aren't wearing medium or heavy armor or using a shield. It graces you with supernatural speed, agility, and focus. You use a bonus action to start the Blade Song, which lasts 1 minute. It ends early if you are incapacitated, if you don medium or heavy armor or a shield, or if you use 2 hands to make an attack with a weapon. You can also dismiss the Blade Song anytime, no action required. While it's active, while your Blade Song is active, you gain the following benefits. You gain AC, a bonus to AC equal to your intelligence modifier, minimum of +1. Your walking speed increases by 10 feet. You have advantage on dexterity after acrobatics checks, and you gain a bonus to any constitution saving throw. Wow, I forgot about this. You make to maintain a concentration on a spell. The bonus equals your intelligence modifier. Wow! And you can use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, and you get them all back on long rest. Holy shit. It's better than I remember. I always knew it was,
but it's all good.
I fucking remember Blightsinger is nuts, but this is more nuts than I remember. Like, speed, I forgot about the speed. Speed is great, and you might get a +5 to your concentration checks. That's nuts. That's Warcaster right there, basically. And it can stack with all
Warcaster
that
that
shit.
stacks with Warcaster.
It's true. Like, oh my god. A wizard that it's really hard for them to lose concentration. That's amazing value. A wizard that moves faster. That's pretty good. And a wizard that has ludicrous AC. Oh my. So you're getting a flat bonus to your AC of probably like +4 to 5, depending on things. Oh, now's a good time to talk about Blightsinger being very mad, right?
Oh my god, the maddest of mad. Well, yes.
You need 3
I think it is the maddest
ability
of them all.
scores.
It's got 3.
It is.
Yep.
You need intelligence, obviously, is #1 priority. All wizards need to get their intelligence up to max. And this one almost more than others because
So much is tied to int in this class.
Dex is strictly worse than int until your int is maxed. Constitution is important for all wizards for saving throws, concentration, as well as not getting yeeted out of existence.
Constitution is important for every single class. In most cases, it should be your secondary stat.
Yeah. That's not a hot take.
Hot take, surviving is good.
Good job. Yeah, I agree. But like, if you can get enough stats, depending on your rolling system or whatever, Blightsinger is going to outclass any wizard. Like, what? Let's say you're wearing studded leather armor, and you have like a +3 to Dex, a +3 to Con, and a +5 to Int at some certain level. That means you have 20 AC when Blade Song is active. That's very achievable too.
Can we just talk about? Can we just talk about how, because Bladesingers get extra attack at 6th level and they can replace one of their cantrips, or one of the attacks with a cantrip, you are at 6th level objectively so much stronger than an Eldridge Knight. It's not even funny.
That's so true.
Yep.
If you ever wanted to play an Eldritch Knight sort of like class, just play Blightsinger. Sad.
Yeah. Wait, let me look this up actually real quick, because the best use of that ability, funnily enough, is to use a light crossbow and then cantrip. Isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Sorry, I was eating. So the point of
y'all
that
are the worst.
So
the best use of that feature is to use a light crossbow and then cantrip.
Just be nowhere near melee.
Yeah.
Nowhere near melee.
Yeah, you're right. It doesn't have to be a melee attack. What the fuck?
So Fawn actually brings up a good point, which is that Eldritch Knight is falling behind in the magic melee category. This is actually something that I wanted to talk about and I have been talking about and trying to hammer home for the last like every single tier list we've ever done. Magic is so much better than melee.
It is.
Like, the problem with Magic melee hybrid classes is always that they're cool and they're fun, but the problem is that if you can cast magic, you're a caster. And if you can't really cast magic, you're a meleeer. And like that's kind of it, right? Like this is the thing about people choose Barbarian field to relevant height levels. Yeah. Barbarian I think is a little bit easier to swallow sometimes because you're just so survivable.
Can't relate.
But sometimes when you're a you did that to you. But fighters, especially, unless you're at like, you know, relatively higher levels when you're really facing like one boss monster or whatever you need to like burst down, like that's the point at which fighters start to feel okay again. But it's like,
yeah.
I think
also the reason why I said
feel good at that point. They feel
the reason
good.
why I said light crossbow is that wizards get proficiency in light crossbows. They don't get that in hand crossbows. You can also choose to use a sling or a dart. Those are your 3 ranged weapons.
Those are your ranged options for this.
Yes.
This is this is it's a running meme in our group that I only like martial classes because I only give magic weapons to martial classes. Magic classes don't need magic items.
It's true.
But
I try to keep the game engaging for melee players by giving them special toys.
True. But the point. So I do want to bring up one thing. Maybe let's just read through the whole subclass though, if you didn't already, because it's very.
I gotta
short.
go check on.
Okay.
I can't read because I gotta go check on my.
I'll read these. 6th level, extra attack. You can replace a cantrip, etc. 10th level, you can direct your magic to absorb damage while your blade song is active. When you take damage, you can use your reaction to expend 1 spell slot and reduce that damage to you by an amount equal to 5 times the spell slot's level. Yeah.
There's your more HP. We'll talk about how good that is, but yeah.
Starting at 14th level, you can add your intelligence modifier, minimum 1, to the damage of your melee weapon attacks while your blade song is active.
If we want to go backwards briefly, we should have Dan here for this particularly because he can run the fucking numbers as he loves to do. I really do feel like that 14th level feature is bait. Like
100%.
Hard,
okay.
Hard bait.
Anytime you have a caster who has melee features, it's bait. When you have a wizard with melee features, it's giga bait.
I believe so. So this is the thing about Blade Song as a whole, is it's built to be the melee wizard, but it's so much more powerful if you just don't melee. Like, oh my fucking god.
But true.
Even at low level, like maybe at exactly level 6, but even that level 6, I'm not convinced you want to be meleeing. But Dan will run numbers, I'm sure.
So okay, consider this. We'll do like a sort of napkin math right here. Imagine that you are a wizard, right? You're a hold on, where's my pen? I had one somewhere around here. God, my desk is a mess. We're not gonna talk about my desk. So let's say that you have.
I'm not in a position to judge.
No, you're not. I guess I could just pull up a notepad or something. But imagine you had a wizard. Let's just say like you get a bladed weapon, right? So ideally, like what a rapier, or does it have to be a bladed weapon?
Actually
you can do a rapier.
Yeah. Do rapier. Although you might not have proficiency in it. Oh no, you get proficiency in one type of one-hand melee weapon. So yeah, you're fine.
Okay, so let's say a rapier, right? A rapier is a D8 weapon. Let's say, for instance, what do you think is at 14th level a reasonable dex mod for a Blightsinger to have?
4 or 5. You can finally get up.
4
let's
or 5.
Say 4.
Okay.
Be conservative.
So let's say
with 4.
+4. Be conservative. So 1d8 plus 4. And then at 14th level, you get to add your int mod, which is +5, right? So that's 4.5 plus 4 plus 5, which is, let's see, 8.5, 13.5, right? Oh, I hear Dan shuffling. So that's 13.5 if you did one melee attack, right, at 14th level. So you as a wizard get or as a Blightsinger, you get 2 of those. So you could attack twice, right? 13.5 times 2 is 27, or you could cast a cantrip. I think is it 2d10 or 3d10? At 11th level is when you get 3d10, right?
3d10.
A firebolt. So 3d10, which is 5.5 times 3 is 16.5. So like 1 melee, 1 cantrip. You're gonna be cantripping because it's just more damage on average, right? So let's see, those together, and that's 30 damage to 1 target in a turn, which is like pretty good for a melee class. Not even that bad for like a 14th level character, right? Range cantrips are better than melee ones. Yes, it's true. I mean, we could look through all the cantrips, but I don't think it matters that much. Let's say a fighter, right, is a you're a fighter. Let's say you have a D12 weapon. It's 6.5 on average. You have a +5 modifier, and at 11th level, or at 14th level rather, you would be attacking 3 times, right? So that's 11.5 times 3 is 34.5, right? So you're doing 4.5 less damage than your fighter on average, which is like it's kind of funny because like you're actually pretty effective, but you could also just cast a spell. You cast one fireball, and
all of this math is irrelevant when you have a 7th level spell slots. It's like not even like 3rd level and 7th level
like
ones.
27 damage for a fireball, right? Maybe if you wanted to talk about like saves and stuff or whatever, but like you hit 2 targets with that fireball and you've already broken even. It's a 3rd level spell slot,
straight up
14th level even. Like it's just
Back when
melee is such bait.
The 14th level feature being useless.
Yeah, the 14th level feature is bait.
We did all the napkin math, and it's so
nice.
fucking bad.
I feel like even at that level, you're better off cantripping like crossbowing.
Listen, if you have no resources,
even though you have better things to do.
If you have no resources, then absolutely you can do that, and you'll do like a little bit.
So many resources.
You'll do like 2/3 the damage of your fighter or whatever. But like, consider the fact that a fighter can do like 34.5 if you action surge. That's like 69 damage. Nice. And then that's like all you can do as a fighter at 14th level, basically. And then your wizard just casts 1 fireball, and you just kind of cry.
Depends on your subclass. We're not comparing this. Well, we are comparing this a little to fighter, but it depends.
But this is just to say, melee is bait. On a wizard, it's gigabait.
Melee, I disagree with the melee is bait as a whole, but on a wizard, it absolutely is.
Melee is bait on any class that can cast spells.
Yes, agreed.
That's your hot take. Paladins should not melee.
Paladins can. I didn't know paladins could cast spells.
Right? Isn't it crazy?
I legitimately don't.
All the spells are called Divine Smite. But
it's like, literally just a Divine Smite bot. Yeah. Like they do not cast spells. I do not believe paladins can cast
Divine
spells.
Smite is a spell in my heart.
Oh my god.
Divine Smite.
So is Lay on Hands.
Listen, maybe you'll cast Destructive Wave if the math works out.
Yeah. Okay. Destructive Wave is one of the few things you definitely will. That's 17th level.
Yeah. It's okay.
Did you talk about the extra attack one?
Yes. Yeah. We talked about. We just talked about it in general, right? Like it's. Like if you don't want to spend resources, like you're still really kind of getting most of the efficiency of like a character. Like you're doing more damage than like a normal wizard.
Like how much is a wizard normally doing if at 6th level if they just want to not cast a spell if they don't want to cantrip? They'll just do like 2d10, and this is just 2d10 plus 1d6 plus like 3, which I mean that's actually going from 11 damage to 17.5 damage. That's like, that's pretty good.
If I think this wizard is in a position to cantrip, then the fight has been won.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that much, but I think it's not a worthless.
All right, I won't dismiss it out of hand, but yeah, I
not
appreciate that.
worthless.
You will. It's not even about optimism. You will feel stronger in your even in your pub stomping situations where you don't need.
Listen,
to cast spells.
it's not worthless. The 14th level ability, now that's worthless.
That's worthless.
Yeah, that one actually is.
And you talked about the 10th level one.
No, I was about to bring this one up.
We have not.
In what regards? This is technically, in a way, healing. Albeit slightly less reactive than normal healing, but it is a wizard with healing. The price of that healing is pretty fucking steep, I gotta say.
It's steep. I think. Yeah, it's kind of hard to say, right? Because you can kind of vaguely compare this to Abjuration Wizard, but it's different. I don't know. I think if you need to use this, you'll know when you'll need to use this. You're not going to use leadership damage.
Oh yeah.
I mean, very explicitly. Let's say you're at 10 health, and someone hits you for like 35 damage. I will expend 6 level of spell slots to reduce that damage to the amount where I live.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
It is.
You know exactly how much to spend.
You do. You can do the math.
The nice thing about this feature is that it is reactive and that it you know all the math beforehand, right? It is like kind of the perfect reactive ability.
It's kind of like an anti-death feature. Like it's really good if you ever have to use it, but you probably don't have to use it very often.
The fact that it's an option
like
is
Chris
good.
says.
Yes. So this is the thing about options, right? The more options that you have that are like the more meaningful options that you have, the stronger your class is. This is obviously like, you know, the power creep thing where like if you have an answer to every solution, then you're obviously a very strong class. And this is an answer to a very, you know,
a very wizard question.
A very wizard question.
Will I survive this hit?
To die or not to die?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah. I guess we haven't talked about the RP thing, and that actually links into the as base as written. This is only available to elves.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
That's
which
true.
is a rule we haven't talked about. And I mean, there's a lot of flavor. There's a lot of flavor with Blightsinger.
Yeah, Bladesingers are like
campaigns,
a very old like D&D thing.
Yeah. I know in some campaigns we've ignored the elf requirement and just kind of, but I just want the features, you know, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
But like there's flavor here if you want to use it.
Yes, there's actually a lot of flavor because this is a history sort of like D&D thing. Is a skill requirement Tasha's? I bet
that's
it is.
That's a good question. That's a good question.
I was going to ask that. Yeah, I was just wondering.
Open the book, Tasha, man.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they took it away because Tasha's likes to kind of modernize stuff.
Yeah, and I will say this. We do live in kind of at this point we do live in the kind of like post-racial D&D world.
Hooray!
Trying to move away from it. And in the first place, like when we're playing homebrew games, like we really don't care, right?
Yeah, we're not that invested in the D&D. You know,
I don't care about the mythos of D&D's racial origins. Like, all right, calm down. But yes, in like the features that you get, sort of like both mechanically and like sort of RP wise, you are correct that you are very adaptable and you get a lot of power just from having options. Which is nice, because wizards normally have options. These give you even more options, such as don't die harder, don't die hardest.
I will say,
how diverse.
There's definitely some limitations, but you have other things for those limitations. One, you can only do this once per turn because only one reaction. Two, it takes the place of both a shield and absorb elements.
That's true.
You will have to do the math on whether or not you can just have the damage that you're taking if it's elemental, or if you need all of it gone and you're willing to spend a fairly high level spell slot to do it, or if you think you're going to be meleeed a bunch more that turn. So there's
usually those two will be more efficient, but this one is your big damage thing if you need it.
Like, if you're going to get fucking downed and that's your choice, you do this.
This is your ice block, isn't it?
Yeah, that's why I love Blightsinger.
So answer the question, Tasha boy.
Oh, I'm trying to find it. I do not see it.
What?
Ah.
Yes. Originally created by elves, this tradition has been adopted by non-elf practitioners who honor and expand on the elven ways.
There you go. Yeah.
Good job, Tashas.
Good job.
Good question.
No
good
more
question.
racism. We defeated racism.
So can we rank it now? Because I think we know it's very strong.
I think we know it's very strong. There's nothing like wizards have a lot of strengths. Some might say too many strengths. They do have some weaknesses. Blade singing takes those weaknesses and it patches up like 95% of them.
Yeah.
Let me ask this: would you rather at 9th level have another Wall of Force, or would you have a +5 to your concentration checks?
And to be clear,
make me choose between my two favorite things, Dan.
and
No,
to
this is a legitimate question.
And to be clear,
question.
wizards get
you're
one
right.
of wizards also. We haven't really talked about this because it shouldn't really factor into ranking that much. But wizards actually get access to two of the strongest magical items in the game, which is Robe of the Archmagi and the Staff of the Magi. So, plus your base AC is 15 plus Dex, and then you get to add your intelligence. Then you can shield. You can really hit 30 very quickly.
Why do you bring this up, Josh?
I don't know. It's almost like I've seen a lot of Blightsingers.
Okay, but like
who had Robe of the Archmagi?
But yeah, like both of you, like which of those is better actually? Once you get 9th level, would you rather have +5 to your Constitution? +5 to your concentration checks, or another spell slot for Wall of Force. Like, which is actually better?
Oh, it depends how many encounters you have per day. That's two walls of force versus that other one.
Yeah.
But if your first Wall of Force breaks in combat, then you have to use another action.
You do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know.
Well, just don't get hit
this is a hard question because you're asking the essential question of, do you want something that is potentially slightly less powerful but relevant at every it's never not relevant, or do you want something that is like spike power? That's very hard question to answer.
I think the spell slot is most likely going to be better, but like that's my opinion.
Yeah, I was just say you can really tell that I play a lot of fighters because I'm like, but what if you had the thing that applies? I think I just like passive bonuses.
I do think it's S tier.
I think so too.
I
think there's no list in which Blightsinger is not an S tier class.
But how do you compare it to Artificer?
Also S tier.
No, but I want to ask which one is stronger.
Oh, it depends on your preference and how much you value high level spell slots. There's no real answer.
I don't know.
Because are they both around equal power level? Is that
so?
Sure.
This is the thing,
you don't have to
right?
give me the exact answer. Yeah.
That Blightsinger is an extremely selfish class. For a class in which it is okay to be extremely selfish, Artificer gives party buffs for most relevant tiers of play and has some flexibility, but like on the face of its features, Blightsinger is more individually powerful, whereas Artificer feels like, it's party buff.
Blightsinger all entirely defensive. If for some reason you need a lot more offense, you would do the other one.
Right. So I don't
Even
know.
if the Artificer dies, your party members are still big.
They're still bigified. You don't
so
even have to
funny.
concentrate, and it can potentially last 4 hours. Like the other thing is right about Artificer and the enlarge reduce. Right, if you only have 2 party members that need to be imbigified, keep a healing potion in your pocket. Right, that might be useful. That is useful for a wizard who can't normally heal. I don't think.
Assuming you can't just buy those.
I was gonna say you can usually buy them.
Yeah, but I mean, like at 2nd level, you're not gonna have enough money to buy a healing potion, really.
True. It very much, which is what I'm saying. It very much depends on the level, depends on what you value, depends on a lot of things. They can't really easily be compared, but I think they're both
factors here. I think they're both around the same power level.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think if I had to choose, I think Blightsinger is slightly stronger.
I would rather play Blightsinger.
I think Blightsinger is slightly stronger as well.
I think I agree.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna put this food away before we go on to the next one.
Oh no, Chronergy. What the fuck is that?
I know, I'm terrified of Chronergy.
Oh, this is from Wild Amount. Is this a Matthew Mercer special?
No way.
Wait,
Oh,
did
it
you
would
do
be
Wild
very
Mount?
Matthew Mercer to mess around
Wild
with
Mount.
time magic.
Did Matt write all of that, or did they like get freelancers or
know.
something, or like in game do it? I never know sometimes. Anyway, I'll leave it up on screen and then I'll go put this away and I'll be back in like 2 minutes.
I don't know if Keeters is still around, but I dismissed their question memeingly earlier, and I realized we never actually got back to answering it. Dan, how are you enjoying Pathfinder?
Oh, I thought we weren't allowed to talk about that.
I was memeing. I don't want to.
Yeah, I think it's fun. I will say, level 1 Pathfinder people have actually D&D 5e is pretty front loaded, but like I never realized how few things you can do at level 1 in Pathfinder.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in D&D as well, like normally it's just attack. But
yeah, level 1 is very limited in D&D as well. I would say, well, it depends on your class, because some classes get their archetype at level 1 and then they might not be limited. What are we playing? I am playing a sorcerer. And I have to work out my archetype because
and I'm playing a champion sorcerer.
Fuck you, I'm playing a sorcerer champion.
Yeah, do it.
I thought about it.
Oh my god.
Some people
is there actually any benefit to it?
I have no fucking clue. I would have to.
I feel like there isn't, but if there is, we can find it.
Some people were suggesting rogue just so that you can get like some armor and have some like stabbing potential. There were so many like forums that were like, yeah, do something that lets you stab as a sorcerer, right? Get some so you can do something in melee. And like all of my D&D instincts are saying stay the fuck away from that, but because it's Pathfinder, I genuinely don't know how good melee is as a caster yet. Like I haven't figured it out. So it's
Are we talking about Pathfinder?
Oh yeah, I want to answer because Keeters asked earlier. I want to answer how have you been enjoying Pathfinder?
Me?
Briefly. Yep.
There are some things in Pathfinder that are like I think that Pathfinder is not going to solve a lot of problems that D&D has while solving some other ones. Because D&D has a lot of problems specifically surrounding, like how much like mental load, I guess you could say, it puts on the DM. Just because a lot of the systems are pretty intricate, and also at the same time, a lot of other systems are very vague. Yeah, low AC of casters is pretty lethal in Pathfinder because of crit stuff. Yeah. How I've been enjoying Pathfinder is I really like it. I think it solves some of the issues I have with D&D that won't really matter to other people, because I think some people they'll play D&D and they'll really like the features it offers, and they don't really care about having stuff like an in-depth crafting system, which obviously Dan and I really like. They won't really care about the amount of end game support that Pathfinder gets, which obviously we kind of care about. And they won't really care about the fact that Pathfinder or Pathfinder in general has a central setting, which I think is better for cohesion, in terms of how they introduce elements of the game.
My wishy-washy answer is some things are better, some things are not. I actually expected more things to be better. But there are several things that I'm like actually appreciative of 5e for. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. There are some things I wish were a little easier. There are some things that are annoying.
You wait for my cursed hybrid.
Yeah, there are some things that are annoying for very specific reasons. Like some of the checks in Pathfinder 2nd edition are secret checks, which is that the GM rolls your stats, which is like, I mean, one, it basically is like, it's my stat, but I don't get to roll it, which always feels a little bit weird.
You're like, oh, it's not very fun to have your things rolled for you.
And it's also really annoying to do in Roll20 specifically. I really wish, but that's a problem with Roll20 specifically.
No. It's still annoying in real life as well. Don't.
In real life, it requires a GM screen.
And it requires 5 rolls from one person rather than 1 from 5. Like it's more annoying straight up, no matter what scenario.
Fair.
Yeah, but it does have a purpose, which is that it is much easier to. It actually facilitates role playing in a certain way, because for the way that most people play the game, I think you will find that a lot of people will see a bad roll and they'll assume that the knowledge that they have is faulty. Whereas in Pathfinder, you can get faulty knowledge and not know it. And I think that is easier for certain people to roleplay. But also, if you are the kind of person who is like good at or willing to kind of play into bad rolls, then it does nothing for you.
We are 2 hours in and 3 subclasses deep.
Let's talk about Matt Mercer's
Matt Mercer special,
and it is Matt Mercer.
For what it's worth, I like Pathfinder 2nd Edition, and I actually, I didn't know how I'd feel about it, but I actually like the crit system.
God.
So.
Want me to read it?
Second level, you magically exert limited control over the flow of time around a creature. As a reaction, after you or a creature you can see within 30 feet of you makes an attack roll, an ability check, or a saving throw, you can force the creature to re-roll. You make this decision after you see whether the roll succeeds or fails, and the target must use the result of the second roll. You can use this ability twice, and you regain any expended uses when you finish a long rest.
Weird. That twice thing is weird, but
I like twice.
Good.
It's basically
like
once. Turn 2 failures into 2 successes, or turn.
It's 2 rerolls.
2 rerolls, yeah.
You can force 2 rerolls. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yep.
It's like a slightly weaker version of the what's it called? The Divination Wizard feature.
Portent. Yep.
Yeah.
True.
Because you're making them reroll. You're not giving them a number that you know the result of. So anyway, starting at second level, you also get to add your intelligence modifier to your initiative rolls. Yeah, you'll take that.
Sure, that's great.
Take that.
Yeah,
Wizards going first is actually one of the best things ever, because you want to get them while your melee haven't zug-zugged.
Wizards love high initiative because that means more fireball target.
Mm-hmm. And
the enemies haven't started charging you yet.
Initiative is often underrated, but incredibly powerful sometimes, and adding your int to it makes it way better. So
this is a special kind of like secret sort of interest for us, but like I love features that affect initiative.
Yeah, because they're rare and good.
Rare and kind of fun.
Yeah.
Anyway. 6th level, as an action, you can magically force a large or smaller creature you can see within 60 feet of you to make a con save against your spell save DC. Unless the saving throw is a success, the creature is encased in a field of magical energy until the end of your next turn or until the creature takes any damage. While encased in this way, the creature is incapacitated and has a speed of 0. You can use this feature a number of times equal to your intelligence modifier, minimum once. You regain all expended uses when you finish a long rest.
Do you have to concentrate on this?
No.
Okay.
You just incapacitate a creature until the end of your next turn.
It's only
or until they take damage.
Or until they take damage. Incapacitated doesn't auto crit, right?
That's a lot of uses.
No, it does not.
Okay, it's just
that
advantage.
is a lot of uses.
There's a lot of stuff you can do with this.
You're like,
it's not. It's
here's a storm chromium
advantage.
Yes. Sorry, jail for you.
I think that's a cool feature.
I think so too. I think you can use it a decent number of times as well. Like even if you fail one, you have 5 at 5th. That's it. 4 or 5.
Don't actually think it's that good for one specific reason that's funny. It's a con save.
Yeah,
con saves are rough. You'll probably get some use out of this, but
are rough. But I do think that I do think that there is still some use for them, because a lot of con saves, the problem with a lot of con saves is that they're tied to things that you would want to do towards a specific creature, and that specific creature will likely have a high con save. But I think in this case, like, you can really use this on any creature, right? And you'll get some value out of it. Like I think locking
Okay, we
down
have to think about this though.
locking down like an
this is-
enemy wizard with this would be really easy.
That's a first level
that's
spell
so-
right there.
That's so rare, yeah.
It's literally Tasha's Hideous Laughter, but not concentration.
This is kind of the
except,
power
like,
level of a first level spell, yeah.
Yeah, it's not crazy good. I was comparing this to Banishment, and like
No.
Banishment is a charisma save, and it lasts a minute, and they go away. And
Wait, let me ask.
you don't get this at that level, and it is concentration. That's sort of the only thing that this has going for it is it's not concentration, but it doesn't really matter because it only lasts one turn. So I'm actually kind of underwhelmed by this.
If incapacitated made it so it was easier to hit them again, it'd be funny because you could chain this on one target.
Mm-hmm. But it, as far as I know, incapacitated is only you cannot take actions or reactions.
Yeah, that is exactly what it is.
So stunned is the one that gives you advantage, and stunned incapacitates them.
This is basically a strong first level spell, but you get 5 of them for free.
Yeah.
But at 6th level, you are at the level where you have fireballs and hypnotic patterns.
Yep.
And action economy just like brutalizes this for me. It's not like bad, but I don't think you get an incredible amount of use out of this.
Yeah, it's all action economy.
I have an interesting question that you don't have to spend a lot of time talking about.
You don't need as many resources.
Yeah, like, do you think the game would be better if the combats were drawn out more?
No.
Because I feel like the answer is not really. I think it would be easier to balance things, but I think in general people already spend so much time in a 3-round combat.
Yeah, we can't slow it down
I think
more.
the game would be better if combat was faster, and I would be okay with a longer combat if it was faster. But because combat's so arduous and slow,
also,
I just want it to be
yeah, I agree. I think I would prefer if combat lasted more rounds, but those rounds were faster.
So what do we get at 10th level?
Based on players, yeah. 10th level.
Okay, 10th level. When you cast a spell using a spell slot of 4th level or lower, you condense the spell's magic into a mote. The spell is frozen in time at the moment of casting and held within a gray bead for 1 hour. This bead is a tiny object with AC 15 and 1 hit point, and is immune to poison and psychic damage. When the duration ends, or if the bead is destroyed, it vanishes in a flash of light and the spell is lost. A creature holding the bead can use its action to release the spell within, whereupon the bead disappears. The spell uses your spell attack bonus and save DC. The spell treats the creature who released it as the caster for all other purposes. Once you create a bead with this feature, you can't do so again until you finish a short or long rest. Okay, so you can make a spell that lasts for you can delay a spell for 1 hour and make it so anyone can use it. Of 4th level or lower. What would you use this on?
And can you carry it around? I read that you could do some exploits by carrying around a Liamon's tiny hut and just pop it down if you're in danger.
Wait, does that?
Wait, hold on. No,
work?
does it negate the cast time?
Does it?
It doesn't say that in it. Like I read it as you're still gonna have to do the.
No, it says when you cast a spell, so you have to spend time casting it, and then it's cast into the moat like a spell.
Yeah, so the creature
it?
then uses its action to release the spell.
Yeah, so
that is
you've already spent time casting it.
I figured they would make you cast it twice. To be perfectly honest, that would be balanced. But you know what? You're probably right.
Can a rogue use their bonus action to use this? No.
Why not? It's an object.
It is an object.
Wait, it is a tiny object. Can use an action to release the spell, but
it's a thief rogue. A thief rogue.
Okay, yeah, I think so, but also it's a little bit weird. I think because it is an object, but is using the action and interact with an object, like thing, or is it like you have to use an action to do it?
I would argue yes, because like potions and scrolls and stuff interact with an object, aren't they?
They are.
They are.
So yeah, I think totally. But we don't have to worry about fucking thief rogue. Thief rogue
it's fucking. It's so niche. I'm not worried about that.
But yes, I guess you could just tiny hut away, right?
And then you have a tiny hut in combat. I guess that is good.
And then the enemy is like,
hey,
get back out here and fight. And you're like, no, we're injured. Give us a minute.
Give us 8 hours. It's like resting at a bonfire.
And then the enemy's just tapping their feet outside, like, what the fuck?
Like all the enemies also get to take a rest.
All right.
No,
Outside of
no,
tiny
they don't get
hut-
to go in.
Outside of tiny hut cheese, do you get any large benefit? I guess the only real benefit, baseline at least, is you can have someone cast a spell that can't normally cast it, and so if casting that spell would be better than anything their class can do,
DMs
then they would do it.
beware.
It's weird.
Okay, so like, I mean, okay, if you want to be technical about this, if you cast Fireball with this and you give the bead to your fighter is finally useful.
True. I mean that's you have a fireball and your fireball has a fireball.
Yeah.
That's great.
Like,
I was thinking
so
that
this
it's
is
action economy for wizard
Yeah, that's
spells.
great.
this
economy.
is the problem with D&D, is that this
Don't
kind
give it
of,
to the. Do not give it to the fighter. By the way, you give it to the cleric.
Oh, you do give it to the cleric. You're right.
Because
Clerics
the
don't do
fighter's
shit
useful.
turn 1.
Yes, exactly.
So it is actually
Don't-
efficient
Give it
in
to Tyler
action
because he's
economy
not in range.
because you're what?
You give it to Tyler because he's not in range.
Right. Damn, harsh. Yeah, so the problem is that you because it allows you to bank something. And obviously it only lasts for an hour. So this is only if you know you're going into a fight. But if you're prepared to go into a fight and you give one of your other party members like just a fireball, right? You get to cast
that's
2
great.
fireballs in one turn. You would definitely take that as any other wizard. Obviously, you are
100%.
cannibalizing another one of your party members' actions,
Yeah.
I think they're going to be pretty happy.
but
with
then
being
they
able
get to
fireball.
cast
Depends.
fireball.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get a lot of value out of this, actually.
I think you'll get a good amount if you can get it off. It's hour duration, so pre-buffing is viable, but I don't want to say it's guaranteed.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
That is true.
This is
It does.
guaranteed.
It requires you to have a situation where you know there's a fight coming up within an hour.
Yep.
And that comes up a lot, but it's definitely not every day that happens.
Yes, it's frequent but not guaranteed. Agreed.
Yeah.
You know what I would use this? I would use this to cheese Glyph of Warding, probably.
Oh my fucking
I
god.
don't even think about Glyph of Warding.
No.
Don't even mention Glyph of Warding.
We're 2 hours and 10 minutes in. No. Close that tab right this
No,
instant.
no!
Stop it. Stop it.
I love
Bad.
Glyph of Warding.
No more Glyph of Warding.
Fun
Glyph of
just
Warding
suggested
is
it.
so bad, but listen,
Glyph of Warding is broken when you fucking decide to break it.
So Glyph of Warding. The problem with Glyph of Warding is that it takes an hour to cast and you can't really move it. But this fixes that problem.
That's true.
You're right. Oh no.
That's the same way they use like dimensional spaces to cheese Glyph of Warding and get all your buffs and all the. Glyph of Warding needs to be cheesed for it to be good, but oh god, can it be cheesed?
Yeah, unless you wanted to make a fucking trap house for your enemies to walk into. But why would they do that?
Like, please, I don't want to go in the hole.
So yeah, so Glyph of Warding is usable with this cheese because it does 5d8 damage of a type you can
Great.
choose.
Oh.
Does this affect my opinion on the power rankings? No.
Josh, Glyph of Warding is not good when used for offense. Glyph of Warding is something you cheese for giving yourself like 1,000,000 buffs.
Anyway,
Yeah.
14th level.
What's the one? Yeah.
Convergent Future. You peer through possible futures and magically pull one of them into events around you, ensuring a particular outcome. Thank you, Doctor Strange. When you or a creature you can see within 60 feet of you makes an attack roll, ability check, or saving throw, you can use your reaction to ignore the die roll and decide whether the number rolled is the minimum needed to succeed or one less than that number. Your choice.
Wait. What? You can use a reaction to ignore the.
So you can choose whether they succeed or fail.
You can just choose whether to succeed or fail.
Ow.
The reason
they don't have any save.
no save. The only reason that they word it this way is because actually because
Legendary
it's a Matthew Mercer
resistance.
special. No, you're right.
It's because of legendary resistance.
Yeah,
This just bypasses that.
No, it's the opposite.
it's the opposite.
Really?
Legendary resistance bypasses this because they didn't say you succeed or fail. If the number rolled is necessary to succeed or fail,
Oh, okay.
that's why they do it. I believe.
Okay. That's a janky way to
That's
write it,
fair.
but whatever. When you use this feature, you gain 1 level of exhaustion. Oh boy.
Yikes.
Only by
Oh,
finishing
okay.
a long rest can you remove a level of exhaustion gained in this way.
Oh, but that means you could spam this.
You can spam this.
If you're really, I like the idea that you could spam this if you must.
Oh, you're right.
I'm
If
not
there's
gonna.
desperate times.
I am not gonna lie to you. I think exhaustion is kind of a janky, exhausting mechanic. However,
Haha.
This is a
however,
this.
This is a good use for it.
I will say this: I love features that let you go beyond your boundaries at a risk or at a cost.
Push your limits. Like
Yeah,
the ones that
you-
make you
you
take
like- you
necrotic
like limit
damage and
breaking.
stuff for like.
I
for,
love
like,
limit
overusing.
breaking.
Limit breaking is great. I like the ones that make you take necrotic damage when you like overuse.
Yeah. I like limit
stuff.
breaking, but Sean has stolen every single limit break I've ever
Shut the
tried.
fuck up.
Wow.
So that seems good. I love that it's risky, but it's
You were
still
going to need
really good.
a week to recover, or just one day where your cleric casts a couple of greater restorations on you.
Nope. Reread that.
Nope, you're right.
They-
it's only by finishing the rest.
They're way ahead of you. They
They
will
countered
not
the
let you.
cheese.
It's so clunky that they literally had to add a stipulation that you can't get rid of this except over days. But you know what? It does keep it more balanced. Slightly.
That's true.
Oh, wasn't
So let's
one of
rank
the
this shit.
yeah? I was gonna say, wasn't one of the features of the fire sorcerer you played the one that I wrote? Did that give exhaustion? I don't remember.
I
So
don't.
let's rank this.
Yeah, what do you think this lands?
Let's compare it to. I don't think it's S tier. Let's compare it to Abjuration. Abjuration is pretty like lackluster in that it just gives you just have more health basically. You're just tankier.
Yeah.
This one make 2 rolls go better possibly. Get better initiative. Not a very good stasis feature. And at 10th level you get hand out some fireballs. And then at 14th level it's a pretty late game, so we don't have to worry about it too much. But like.
I think I like every feature except the state. The stasis isn't terrible, and like
I
the
almost
10th
think
level feature's
Abjuration is.
clunky.
I almost think Abjuration is better till 10th level.
I agree, actually.
Yeah,
But initiative.
you may
I know
it may
it's
be
insane
underrated, but
to
it's
say
not that underrated.
It's not that underrated. Oh come on. Initiative and enforcing rerolls. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
It's pretty good, but
but you also have to be within 30 feet.
You do.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's the same tier as Abjuration.
I don't
Excuse
think
me.
it can be a lower tier than Abjuration.
You think it's better?
I think they're pretty on par. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like that Abjuration Wizard just tanky.
For some, I was like, I don't know why. I got my wires crossed because we were talking about Artificer. Also, I was like, "There's no way this is an S tier class." Looks.
No.
Oh wait, yes, Abjuration, perfect. This is exactly where I would place this.
I like HP or these. I mean, I would rather play this than Abjuration, but that doesn't make it less powerful.
Yeah, I mean Abjuration is boring.
Yeah.
Really, I would rather play Abjuration.
But it's so boring.
That's because you like Champion. You like things with no features.
You like boring shit.
No,
You
I
do
like
like boring
I like
shit.
weird janky things. I would if I was
This
gonna
is
play
no
Abjuration.
janky.
No, if I would
This
if I
is
would like
so much jankier than Abjuration.
Yes.
no, if I would play Abjuration, I would multi-class Warlock and just do spike cheese.
You've already done that.
Playing Abjuration. I'm okay with B.
Okay.
I think we might have to shuffle it around eventually, but
I think so, too.
genuinely don't have enough on here to know for sure.
Conjuration.
I'm like not confident in our rankings yet.
You get the conjuration thing where you can copy spells. Woo! Starting at 2nd level, you can use your action to conjure up an inanimate object in your hand or on the ground in an unoccupied space you can see within 10 feet of you. The object can be no larger than 3 feet on a side and weigh no more than 10 pounds, and its form must be that of a non-magical object that you have seen. The object is visibly magical, radiating dim light out to 5 feet. Object disappears after 1 hour when you use this feature again, or if it takes or deals any damage. Deals damage.
Wow.
I mean, you could conjure a dagger.
A caltrop.
Yeah, it's that's actually maybe.
Yeah, 3 feet on a side, no more than 10 pounds. You could easily make a short sword.
Yeah, but like, you wouldn't now.
You wouldn't, obviously, because you would stab somebody and it would disappear.
So like, what are you doing with this?
Roleplay.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Just making stuff.
Can you
There-
conjure
there's-
in the
Oh.
air on the ground? It says.
You are conjuring a crate for which you will then proceed to use for either half cover, 3/4 cover, or full cover.
Yeah, it's like
Guess so.
minor illusion cheese.
Yes.
Give
But
yourself
it's
some
real
cover,
this time.
I guess. If
It
you
can
be a
actually
gnome, so you
block
can-
arrows.
It
be a
can block
gnome, so you
one
fit under the
arrow.
three-
It can block.
Oh, you're
Oh,
right.
maybe it's worse.
It's-
For a really funny reason.
Have we played Shrine? I have played Shrine.
Yeah, so this feature is very flavor. This is not very strong.
This is a base book wizard, and you can tell because this is a ribbon feature.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're at 6th level.
Okay. You can use your action to teleport up to 30 feet to an unoccupied space that you can see. Alternatively, you can choose a space within range that is occupied by a small or medium creature. If that creature is willing, you both teleport, swapping places. Once you use this feature, you can't use it again until you finish a long rest, or you cast a conjuration spell of 1st level or higher.
So it's action Misty Step, or it is action swap with your fighter.
Yeah.
It's not that good.
No, it's not.
No, it's not. It's. Yeah.
Like you could just Misty Step at this point. You're 6th
yeah.
level.
Yeah, all of the other ones. can
Phil,
fuck
you
off
do make a
better.
good point here. However, it's not like forensic science is that advanced in Dungeons and Dragons world. Would they even be
Might
able
be.
to match a blade wound?
That's true. Like
It's like
you
a
just stab
sword is
someone
a
and walk
sword is
away.
a sword.
You just walk away with the dagger.
Well, yeah, and then you have the fucking evidence on you when they search you. No.
Okay, but, like,
are they
you-
gonna search you?
Just
They're like, this person in the medieval world has a dagger. You fool! We all have daggers.
right, literally throw the dagger on the ground. What are they gonna do? Fingerprint it?
What if they fingerprint it? Yeah.
Oh my god, no.
10th level, while you are concentrating on a conjuration spell, your concentration cannot be broken as a result of taking damage. 14th level, any creature
wait.
that you what?
That's pretty good.
Well,
Okay.
read the 14. Okay, it
That,
works
okay,
in
I will
conjunction
say
with
this:
14.
that feature is a lot better now that there are better conjuration spells in the game.
Yeah,
I
these all
actually-
suck.
I disagree.
Uh-huh.
I think
Really?
base game conjuration spells, there are actually several very good ones. May I introduce you to conjure animals and conjure woodland beings?
Okay, you're right.
And that synergizes with 14th level. ability.
14th level, any creature that you summon or create with a conjuration spell has 30 temporary hit points.
It's so excruciating to read that.
Okay,
Yeah.
here's my thought.
The only
I'm
way
gonna defer to
synergize
Dan.
these- Yeah.
I
there
don't
are-
care
there are
enough.
ways- Yeah, for most wizards, you have better things to do. This is not very strong. But if you decide to make your GM cry and just spam like 24 wolves and just like start shredding people, and just hope they don't have any AoE, then you will not lose concentration. That feature is actually, even in that case, actually pretty worthless, because if you're doing wolf spam or like any sort of animal spam or summon spam, you don't have to be in the combat. You just sit there 500 feet away picking your nose.
You could be in safety and have your conjured. Yeah.
So yeah, even optimally, that 10th level feature is pretty worthless. The 14th level feature, actually pretty great if you're doing summon spam.
Yeah,
but it's too
agreed.
late. It's too late.
Yeah, it's so
is
so.
You have
Far too
13
late.
levels of being nothing, and at 14th level, suddenly your annoying swarm is really fucking annoying to kill, and like actually that's amazing.
Are the
This
base
is-
book
this is-
It doesn't do any more damage, but
Yeah.
to
This
address
is-
Trist's question,
Yeah.
yes, sort of. The thing is that
Base if
base
base wizard will be
wizards- yeah, base wizards are very strong.
Yes.
It's true. There are a couple. There's two, there are it's more a result of like design foresight or lack thereof than it is like power level or intent. Because I think that because they wrote all of the wizard subclasses to be based around spell schools, I think they thought those would be more impactful than they are.
Mm-hmm.
And
most of the time it's irrelevant, yes.
And as a result, some of them win and some of them lose. Most of them lose, and some of them win very hard. One of them wins very hard.
One of them wins very, very hard, yes. That said, I also think you can generalize this. I think if you were to go back through all of our tier lists, all of the base PHP subclasses are just kind of weaker than the rest.
You would
and
be,
that is,
except for Battlemaster.
Except for Battlemaster, yes. And so, broadly speaking, for the most part, they're all slightly weaker because this was the first book.
Paladins.
Power creep is
Paladins
a very
are
real...
about the same.
Two-thirds of the Paladin subclasses in base PHP are very strong.
True. But for many classes, particularly spellcasters, the base ones are not that strong.
Exactly.
This follows that trend.
So this is just because they didn't really know what shape the game would take, and now they kind of do.
Yep.
Sometimes they write something and I'm like, you clearly do not understand. But for the most part, they understand a lot better than they used to. Anyway.
This?
Yes, I gotta say though, that 14th level feature, it's a key recipe for my favorite multi-class amalgamation I've ever invented.
No.
Do you remember the Shepherd Druid 6 Conjuration Wizard 14?
No.
I do in fact remember. You didn't get to that point. Oh, did you play the one shot?
No, we played in Brendan's campaign. Brendan killed the campaign. He gave up on it. But like, I'd
give up too
this to Shannon.
if you did this to me.
It is torture as a GM if someone starts spamming summons, but it's actually really strong. But that's the Shepherd Druid that makes it strong, not the Conjuration Druid. So I say this is F tier.
Yeah, I was gonna say the thing is like more hit points is fine, but 14th level is really late. 30 is not that many at 14th level for whatever you're summoning, probably, unless you're summoning lots of creatures. But at that point, what are the creatures doing? You're
tripling their health.
Yeah,
and each of them tickles the enemies, which sounds terrible, but if you have 50 of them.
Yeah, it's actually fairly fucking annoying. Does it redeem it from F tier? Keep in mind that it does technically have a 6th level feature. It's just a 6th level feature that almost every other wizard has. So actually,
I think
forget that.
If you have a wizard that is like up until 10th level, it's got nothing. It's just a base wizard. This is a base wizard.
And even at 10th level for most wizards, they're not going to use that feature,
right? Yeah.
This is just F tier because it's too close to just
F tier.
Wizard.
He was too close to the base wizard.
Yes, exactly.
Now keep in mind,
it maybe should be D, but I can accept F.
Keep in mind, an F tier wizard is still an S tier fighter.
That's true.
You'll still do fine on an F tier wizard.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Listen, we almost gave Eldridge Knight S tier based on the fact that it could cast one fireball at like 14th level.
Fighters do have nice single target late game, I guess.
You guys were on some shit with that Eldritch Knight is all I will say there.
Eldritch Knight is the best thing in the world.
So long.
You guys were on some fucking shit, and I'm not touching that.
It's beautiful.
Oh boy, it's divination time. So you get the divination spell thing, whatever, that's fine. 2nd level, you catch glimpses of the future. When you finish a long rest, you roll 2 d20s and record the numbers rolled. You can replace any attack roll, saving throw, or ability check made by you or a creature that you can see with one of these foretelling rolls. You must choose to do so before the roll, and you can replace a roll in this way only once per turn. Each foretelling roll can only be used once. When you finish a long rest, you lose any unused foretelling rolls. This ability bangs.
It's great.
Everyone's favorite.
Everyone's favorite ability.
Sure.
Until the annoying part is having to do it before you know the roll, but that's
yes, that is the only real annoyance. You only get 2 of them. Do you get more later?
14th level, you get 3.
Okay, cool. This is a really strong ability. Like, it's super flexible. You can use it on whatever the fuck you want. Like, it is a little RNG because you have to roll them, so you might just get 2 10s and you're like, whatever. But that's like
If,
Two
if you get
still
two tens, it's
guarantees
it's,
like a hit for most
true.
martial classes, right?
even if you get two tens, I think it's about the same power level as the Chronology one, but this one has a little bit more potential.
Exactly, right? Because
So I think it's a bit stronger than the Chronology one.
you can get a 1 or a 2, and you can cause someone to fail automatically. You can get a 20, you can cause someone to critically succeed automatically. Very strong, very potential.
True. And Dan, to be clear, what's the one you're comparing it to? Is it their 14th level?
The second
feature?
level feature. The second level feature.
Oh, their second level, their rerolls?
Yes, the rerolls.
2 rerolls
okay,
as
got it.
opposed to
They're fairly similar, but this one is a little bit. It's like
this one's a
more
little
RN
stronger.
It's like more RNG up front, but more reliable after that.
Yeah.
As a result, because
That one can fail. This one, you pretty much get what you signed up for.
Yes,
Exactly,
agreed.
yeah. And like that, the thing is, like this is a game of dice, and having the ability to determine what those dice are is really strong.
Yep.
Because
it's insane.
you'll generally speaking know exactly when you'll want to use this.
Now, the downside is the rest of the subclass.
Okay, so at 6th level, casting divination spells comes so easily to you that it only expends a fraction of your spellcasting efforts. When you cast a divination spell of 2nd level or higher using a spell slot, you regain 1 expended spell slot. The slot you regain must be of a level lower than the spell you cast and can't be higher than 5th level.
This one is pretty worthless, if I remember correctly.
This one is pretty worthless because divination spells are just really
They're usually rituals, too.
Oh, that's also true.
You're a ritual
I'm
caster.
sure there's a couple that aren't in like.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a couple, but let's take a
They're
look.
all out of combat.
Yeah, the thing is,
it's really just,
divination
like-
spells aren't used in combat. Is like the big problem with that. Like, oh my god, I'm actually looking at the list, and let's see what spells you get. True Strike, comprehend languages, detect magic, identify borrowed knowledge, detect thoughts, locate object, Mind Spike. Mind Spike is a divination spell.
What?
I guess so. I mean, I guess you can generate infinite mind spikes, but why? Because like, the next like combat spell you would use is 9th level Foresight. There's actually a huge.
Foresight is not a combat spell. It has a 1 minute cast time.
Okay, but there's a huge gap between 6th and 9th level.
Yeah, it's so
There's
fun.
no divination
There's
spells
literally-
between 6th and 9th level.
Yeah,
remember
Xanathar's was the one that added Mind Spike, and that actually gave a boost to this power level, didn't it?
it did slightly.
Yeah, because it's the only spell I could see casting on this list.
And that just gives you another 1st level spell slot if you cast it.
Which is nice, actually. That's another shield.
Wait, Mind Spike is a 2nd level spell, and this.
So you can get a 1st level spell from it. You can get infinite shields if you cast Mind Spike over and over again.
What? No, you're running out of Mind
but you could
Spike
just
spell
cast. I
slots.
would rather just cast Shield at 2nd level, to be honest.
Okay, like remember how we had this conversation and we all sort of agreed that you often aren't limited by spell slots.
You have so
and this
many.
is and you have quite a few, particularly as you gain levels.
This is a nothing
and this
feature.
yes, exactly. This
I was
feature
gonna
is
say the
so
same
fun to
thing.
use, and it gives you something that you often don't even need. Yeah, it's not really anything.
If you haven't cast a spell of lower
Worthless.
level, can you not use this? Just lose the XP. You just lose it. You don't get any benefit from it.
Yeah, no benefits gained.
But then again, why would you cast a divination spell anyway? There's one combat divination spell, maybe 2. No, 1.
Yeah. Divination spells are just those things you cast for scouting, for prophesizing, for flavor, for fun.
Divination spells are spells that are potentially interesting, but I don't want to waste knowing them.
That's why they're really good on a wizard, because you can take them, you can know them, and then use them as rituals by not preparing them.
Exactly. So,
Other classes have to prepare them.
10th level, you get one of the following benefits, which lasts until you're incapacitated, or you take a short or long rest. You can use your action to activate this. You can't use the feature again until you finish a short or long rest. Dark vision, 60 feet. You can see into the ethereal plane within 60 feet. You can read any language. You can see invisible creatures and objects within 10 feet of you that are within line of sight. 10th level?
Read language is useless because you can just, you can just have a ritual cast comprehend language or whatever the fuck. Seeing invisible objects, that's That's so incredibly niche. Ethereal Plane, even more niche somehow. Dark Vision, like,
Useful if you
what?
don't have it. Useless if you do. You probably
Just
have
cast
it. Or you could just cast
just
light.
cast light
yeah.
or don't be a human.
I don't know. I think most of these are just
Or no.
not high impact whatsoever. They're very like almost
Very
no impact.
low impact. Yes.
Yep. Agreed.
14th level, you get 3 d20s for your portent feature rather than 2.
Nice and simple.
Absolutely
Alright.
insane.
Where do we rank?
actually
Really,
do wanna
really
bring
good,
up-
actually.
The difference between 3 and 2
I don't think
is
absolutely
no,
same.
here's the thing: the difference between 3 and 2 is bigger than you think. Not because you can use all 3, but because you get 3. It increases
more
your odds
likely.
of getting a crit miss or crit fail.
Also true.
They're pretty unlikely
and you can
still.
use that one.
I wish this was like 4 or something.
Yeah, well, that's fair. It's one plus
So,
1 is a little
Divination
overwhelming.
Divination Wizards have 1 feature. How good is that 1 feature
I
compared
know.
to
Honestly,
like Chronergy?
I think this is pretty. I think this is D tier. I think this is pretty terrible overall.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I it's fun, but this from a mathematical, from just objectively looking at it, this is pretty awful.
Yeah. I think that the first level ability or the second level ability is really strong. It does have pretty limited uses because you only get 2 per long rest.
And you have to be within 60 feet and a bunch
You,
of.
might not even
you
roll
do
well.
not have to be within 60 feet.
Oh, sorry.
What?
It is a
thought
creature
there
that
was
you
a
can
limit.
see.
What? I thought there was a range.
I thought there was 2.
You
Oh.
are thinking of Chronergy.
No, I also thought there was a range. Why
Yeah,
did you
'cause-
think that.
Probably, I think I made a magic item to boost Steven's. I massively boost this feature to make it like way better, and then Steven left before looking at it and never joined again.
I think. I guess maybe.
And I think I had it that there was like no range limit or something. Maybe.
Anyway.
But no, there is no range limit. It's literally just a creature you can see.
Okay.
So
Is
here is the thing. You get 1 feature. It's pretty limited. It is pretty. It can be pretty high impact, but is nice otherwise. And it comes really early, which is nice.
yeah. So, here's my question. I don't know if this deserves to be 2 tiers below Chronergy.
Chronergy continues to get features and features and features. This one does not.
Yeah. That's why I would.
Chronergy's Chronergy's second level feature is pretty close, like to the point where I would actually put them in the same tier if they both only had their second level features.
Yes.
And then like over time, this one just keeps dropping.
What does Chronergy get later again? Oh yeah. Okay. It gets that. It gets that. It does have the
Fireball
yeah.
handing out.
Yeah. I would still be. It's
D
it's
for
C or D
divination.
for sure. I'm okay with. I can accept D. I think I'm really not confident about these ratings though. Now I'm wondering if we should drop Chronergy.
No, you're also forgetting. This is actually, even at level 2, this is better than divination. 'Cause they get initiative.
They also get the initiative
That's
boost.
true.
Yeah.
You're right.
They just get more
like
features.
this is easily 2 tiers below Chronergy.
They just get straight up better shit.
Yeah,
You're right.
the problem is that however much better the portent is than the Chronergy feature, it kind of pales in comparison to the fact that Chronergy at least continues to get usable, if not good features.
Mhm.
And even at level 2, they get that hell initiative. So
And I
like,
do love it.
I don't think
It's
divination is
just
ever
they
better.
get more things. All right. Enchantment, gold cost, whatever.
Oh.
Second level, you can use your soft words and enchanting gaze to magically enthrall another creature. As an action, 1 creature within 5 feet of you. If the target can see or hear you, it must succeed on a Wisdom saving throw against your wizard spell save DC, or be charmed by you until the end of your next turn. A charmed creature speed drops to 0. The creature is incapacitated and visibly dazed. On subsequent turns, you can use your action to maintain this effect, extending its duration until the end of your next turn. However, the effect ends if you move more than 5 feet away from the creature, if the creature can neither see nor hear you, or if the creature takes damage. Once the effect ends, if the creature succeeds on its initial saving throw against the effect, you can't use this feature on that creature again until you finish a long rest. This sucks
Yeah.
ass.
Yeah.
This is actually actively worse than a lot of the other charm features, which are already bad.
Yep.
I agree.
Fucking
6th
5
level.
feet. Yeah.
When a creature you can see within 30 feet of you makes an attack roll against you, you can use your reaction to divert the attack, provided that another creature is within the attack's range. The attacker must make a Wisdom saving throw against your Wizard spell save DC. On a failed save, the attacker must target the creature that is closest to it, not including you or itself. If multiple creatures are closest, the attacker chooses which one to target. On a successful save, you can't use this feature on the attacker again until you finish a long rest. You must choose to use this feature before knowing whether the attack hits or misses. Creatures that can't be charmed are immune to this effect. Okay. This is Sanctuary.
I'm just kind of rereading it. Sanctuary, you're saying?
Yeah, this is basically just Sanctuary. Wisdom save against your spell save DC, or they choose another target. Now,
is this permanent? Wait.
No.
How many times? Let's see. You can use
Once.
Once?
Against the attacker. Once per attacker. Is that
so,
right?
not actually.
Oh, okay.
So
Wait.
the thing about this is it's annoying because you can basically make a creature fail. If the creature fails the save, they have to attack the closest creature that is not you.
And it might choose an ally.
It might choose an
Unlike
ally.
Sanctuary.
Yes, it is. It is
That's
better
pretty
than
good.
Sanctuary in that regard, and also, you can continue to use this feature until they succeed.
That's true. That is nice. I will say, how often are you alone, not next to any of your allies, as a wizard?
That is true.
Like, shouldn't you just be on the back line with some other squishy?
I mean, it is within 30 feet of you. So even if somebody is at range and they attack you with like a crossbow, you can make them divert the attack.
Is this a reaction? Oh, it's a reaction.
It
I
is
think
a
this is
reaction.
garbage because you have shield and absorb elements. Like,
Yep.
I didn't
Pretty
realize.
much.
I think this is I think you're just never going to use this ever.
I think it's funny.
You might
It
use
is
it
funny.
sometimes, but it's not amazing.
Maybe incredibly rarely. And then in
Is
that
this-
rare case, it'll just hit your ally, and your
I was
ally
gonna
will
say
just like.
the actual use of this is like really hard. Is like really not that good because it requires you to be close, and it requires you to be close to more than one target, and it requires you to be ideally close to more than one target that are hostile to you.
It's our comparison of this is better than base wizard. This is not a big upgrade over a base wizard casting shield. It really
You are
really isn't.
1.01 base wizards.
So
Yes.
yeah,
1% better.
When you cast at 10th level, when you cast an enchantment spell of 1st level or higher that targets only one creature, you can have it target a second
good-
creature.
Good
How
analysis.
good? Okay, what are
Wait, let me see.
Let's see. Let's look up enchantment spells.
I think Tasha's is enchantment.
spells. Tasha's, I believe, is enchantment. But like, why would you at 10th level target 2 creatures with Tasha's when you can hypnotic pattern a whole field?
Let's see. I'm sure there's some high level spell that might
That's
make
what I'm
this
looking
worth
for
it.
now.
Okay.
Let's see. Tasha's Mind Whip.
Suggestion value, maybe, I guess. Not really. Confusion. Wait, no, that's multiple targets.
Banishment?
What does
Wait,
enemies
oh, wait, but
abound
you-
to do?
Oh, it makes them attack random people basically.
It's like several targets though as well. I think this has to be a single target thing. Doesn't
Oh
it?
yeah. Oh wait, no, maybe
No.
maybe it's
Enemies abound is
single
one target.
Yeah.
That's single
Yeah.
target.
Oh, okay.
They perceive everyone as an enemy, right?
Yeah, that'd be really funny. Just make 2 enemies fight each other.
Sure.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean,
No.
Double.
All right.
Double enemies.
Do you know
double
what?
enemies
Do you know what's an
abound
enchantment
value.
skill? Ralathim
What?
Psychic Lance.
Oh, is
What
that the
fucking
stunning
book is
one?
this? That's not
Is that the
okay.
is that the broken one that Mads
I
uses
think
for
that's the
stunning?
Yes.
stunning one.
Yeah.
It's so broken. Why is it?
So now
enchantment?
you can double target Psychic Lance.
Oh, that's
Wait,
so
that's
good.
so good actually now.
I don't know how much I want to even count.
Wait, no, it's not.
Ralathim
It's not a
Psychic.
stun. It's incapacitation.
I mean, that's still amazing.
It's still you're taking a 4th level spell that does 7d6 psychic damage to one target, and now you're doing like 2,
Incapacitate
and they're
is
incapacitated.
Oh, incapacitate is almost as good as stun.
I don't know if I want to rate things based on a spell from Fizzban's Treasury of Dragons.
That's canon, isn't it? or like
barely. Barely.
It is. No, what do you mean? Is it really barely? 'Cause
If it's on D&D Beyond, it's kosher.
I thought it was totally like official.
Fizzbands.
Listen, we are a nice modern tier list ranking. We are up to date with the new spells.
Fizzbands Treasury of Dragons is on the official dnd.wizards.com. Like,
oh, okay.
This is like if you said you can't play the orc stat block because it's in or we can't rate something on the orc stat block because it's in like, you know, the Book of Monsters or whatever.
Yeah. Don't worry. This isn't suddenly making this class broken because you have 9 levels of nothing first.
Correct. Ooh, the alt cover for Fizzbands is really good.
Ooh.
Man, I love getting double value on shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, as we discovered, that spell is very,
official.
very good.
Sean's a jerk. Sean, of all people, should not be casting stones about something being powerful because you're pulling from a different book.
Really? Wow.
Okay. Let's see.
Yeah. So you can I think we've basically found out. Yeah, this 10th level feature, you could definitely get some very good value out of it.
Oh, you can also double hold monster.
That's also really good, and that's base game.
It is.
Hold monster is a strong spell.
You can also double Otto's irresistible dance.
Oh.
So
wait, I think this is a great feature.
Actually, there are
Is Otto's irresistible dance the non-save one?
Yes, it is the non-save one.
Got you.
Very high level.
Leveling 6th level spell seems good.
Yes,
yeah, there's no limit
and
here.
at 10th level, like, yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to play your niche of being like a control caster, like, I don't want to blow people with a fireball, I want a hypnotic pattern and do this is great for that.
This is the thing, right? Is that Wizards excel
once you hit 10th level.
Wizards excel in a couple yeah, exactly. Wizards excel in a couple of areas. One of them is obviously AoE damage. Like, if you can cast Fireball, you're the god of AoE damage, right? But the other thing that Wizards can also really do, this is why Wizards are busted, right? Because they have utility spells and they have damage spells and they have control spells.
Yep.
Control spells tend to be enchantment. Some of them are multi-target, like Hypnotic Pattern, but Hypnotic Pattern is like uniquely kind of busted. But this is really good because a lot of the really strong enchantment spells target one creature. Targeting 2 creatures makes it pretty effective as a combat kind of option, especially because Otto's irresistible dance does not require a saving throw.
Indeed.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll take that.
Of course. Yeah. So
do they get anything at 14?
Let's see. At 14, they get Alter Memories. When you cast an enchantment spell to charm one or more creatures, you can alter one creature's understanding so that it remains unaware of being charmed. I mean, it fixes charms, I guess, but it's kind of horrifying.
Yeah.
Additionally, once before the spell expires, you can use your action to try to make the chosen creature forget some of the time it spent charmed. The creature must succeed on an int save against your wizard spell save DC or lose a number of hours of its memories equal to 1 plus your charisma modifier. You can make the creature forget less time, and the amount of time can't exceed the duration of your enchantment spell.
It's hard to rank this.
It is hard to rank this.
It's a little late for a seemingly kind of out of combat charmy feature that you most likely would be using in a social setting.
Is kind of whatever. I think the 10th level feature is really the strongest thing you get, but I also think it might be the only feature that you get.
If you cut out the 10th level feature, I believe this would be in F tier. Yeah,
this would
F tier.
It gets a good feature at level 10, which to me feels
this feature.
Like it's
This feature is stronger than the divination feature, but comes much later.
It comes so
8 levels later.
I'm willing to put it in the same tier for that reason.
Me
I was about to suggest that.
I was also thinking D tier.
All right.
Perfect.
It redeems itself slightly, but it's too late.
It saved itself from F, but only just barely.
I think this is probably the last one we will rank for today.
Interesting. Okay.
If that's okay.
I mean, it's fine with me.
All right, this is the School of Evocation.
Oh baby.
Oh baby.
It's evocation time.
Golden time halved for evocation spells. Whatever. Second level spells. You can create pockets of relative safety within the effects of your evocation spells. When you cast an evocation spell that affects other creatures that you can see, you choose a number of them equal to 1 plus the spell's level. The chosen creatures automatically succeed on their saving throws against the spell, and they take no damage if they would normally take half damage on a successful save. Great feature. Really great feature for your frontliners. They'll be very, very happy about that.
Yeah, you could make it extremely likely for your frontliners to take 0 damage from your fireballs and such. Is that right?
They automatically succeed their saves, and they take no damage if they would take half.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Very likely for them to. Oh, automatic. I thought it was
automatic. Yeah.
advantage or
No,
something. Wow, so
they just get it. It's you can fireball your allies with
fireball with reckless abandon.
Assuming you have enough. You don't fireball too many allies.
Yeah.
You are limited slightly.
This is a good feature. Not like it doesn't inherently like give you power level, but like with consideration of your party, like you're gonna be very happy with this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you will not be upset. 6th level potent cantrip. So when a creature succeeds on a saving throw against your cantrip, the creature takes half the cantrip damage, but suffers no additional effect. This is actually
very similar to the in value, in my opinion, to the Blightsinger one.
Yeah, it's just like you're really not gonna cast saving throw cantrips. We're really not casting mostly cantrips anyway as a wizard.
Wizards have so many spells.
You pretty much have spells covered.
What? Mm-hmm.
But like, it's something.
It means your Toll the Dead does slightly more damage on average.
That's true. You're less sad
Toll the
when
Dead
you're
is
Toll
actually really good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is not too bad. It's not bad, I guess.
Yeah. It's pretty underwhelming, but it's not.
Pretty underwhelming. Yes. This is like only relevant if you are relying on cantrips, which can matter if you're playing in a game where resources are a little tighter. But mostly a wizard is like kind of okay. Like you take a short rest and you do have Arcane Recovery, which is so unfair, really, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Like sorcerers are like, cool, I get spell flexibility, and wizards are like, bro, I got so many fucking spells, I don't even know what to do with them.
Yeah. But the 10th level feature is where the fun begins.
You can add your intelligence modifier, minimum of 1, to 1 damage roll of any wizard evocation spell that you can cast.
And all we care about.
I thought this was worthless upon first read long ago.
Before the dark times.
At first, it seems not that good.
Yeah, you get to add your int to your damage rolls. Why would
like your fireball could be 20 instead of 28 damage, it does 33 damage. Sure.
Yeah, sure. That's fine. I would be pretty scoffing at this feature. A little bit, and then Dan would have to argue numbers with me. Instead, Dan, explain, or Josh, whoever.
Yeah, the 2 words, magic missile. Magic missile only makes 1 damage roll, and that damage will then be multiplied. A level 1 magic missile will then add 3 times your int modifier, and each level up casted magic missile adds an additional int modifier. Basically, meaning if you're casting like, let's say a 5th level magic missile, that's 7d4 plus, let's see, 6 times 7, 42?
Yeah, so this is the thing, right? Is that at 10th level, this is like numerically a fine feature for for most like evocation spells. Like if you cast fireball, like 27 to 32 is like a 15 to 20% increase in damage, which is like nice. Like if you had like a feature that did 15% more damage on fireball, you take it.
In fact, most of those features, as an aside, most of those features are usually like one more target.
One target, right?
Yeah,
so this is actually better than those features. However, because Magic Missile only makes 1 attack roll,
and then multiplies
it, you get a multiplying bonus on that. And anytime that you can stack lots of instances of damage is good. For instance, fighters making 3 to 4 attacks, great. Warlocks making 3 to 4 Eldritch Blasts, amazing. This is that, but on steroids. Because you can really crank that magic missile up.
So you usually single target wizard DPS is pretty underwhelming, but this does let you compare with the fighter.
Magic missile hits automatically.
What's the damage of a 4? Oh yeah, and it always hits. Fuck.
It's auto damage.
You're guaranteed damage.
Like this, Finger of Death, Disintegrate, all that shit, obsolete. Those things will hit like half the time.
Attack rolls?
And do about
saving throws? Throw that shit in the garbage. It's magic
How?
missile time, baby.
In fact, cantrips by this point are obsolete because first level magic missile. Just you have a fuck ton of first level spells. Just spam that shit.
So first level spell is 3d if you have
3d4 plus 18.
Yeah, we're assuming you have max int by level 10, which I think is reasonable. So 3d4 plus 18 for a first level spell slot is a lot of damage.
Holy shit, it
Guaranteed
is.
damage. What's a fourth level? How? Because you won't use your fifth level spell slot on this probably. You want to save that for something, but you'll probably burn a fourth level spell slot. How much damage is a fourth?
Yeah,
level
you can just
spell?
throw some fourth level spell slot. That you add another. It's double. It's double a first level.
Yeah.
So plus
One dart per
36.
extra level.
It is
Okay.
6d4 plus 36. So
64 plus 36.
51 damage. You are doing 51 damage.
Mm-hmm. Guaranteed damage. It always hits. It's force damage. They're probably not resistant to force damage. And then you do it again the next turn because you do in fact have 3 fourth level spell slots. I think
so
by this
many.
level.
You have so many.
Yeah, it's really kind of disgusting.
You turn into the magic missile wizard.
You turn into a god of DPS, but only with magic. yeah, that's a good example. You are the magic missile wizard now.
It's so weird that this works this way. I still can't believe that's official.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they never patched out. In fact, they acknowledge that it works this way.
It's so busted.
It's just disgustingly good.
But like, let's.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's rank this right.
We can, yeah. And we'll look at the 14th level feature, of course. But like, we have to rank it based on 1 through 9. You don't have this feature.
So we will. Yes, exactly. So we will look at. The thing is that this feature is obviously very strong. For instance, at 10th level, your fighter can only attack twice.
Until 11, but yes.
Until 11, yes. But listen, that gulf is bigger than you're giving it credit for.
That's a pretty long time, I'll grant you.
So like, if a fighter action surges, they can do 45 damage if they hit all their attacks, no miss, no crit. You just automatically do damage. You're just automatically doing that damage. You don't even have to make an attack roll. Like, most creatures you encounter cannot counter magic missile. Like, force damage, like nothing resists force damage. The only way to really stop magic missile is casting shield, and like,
yeah, most creatures in the game do not have that.
Most creatures don't have shield, and the creatures that do have shield are very susceptible to melee attacks. So really, at that point, you just get your fucking frontliners to gank them.
Well, actually, they have shield up, so they're a little bit less susceptible. But you know, I don't think I've ever had shield counter a magic missile. Maybe in Josh's Wizard campaign. I think you did that.
Josh has done it to me in 2 different campaigns.
Okay, never mind then.
It's okay. They didn't do it very much.
And then now we've waxed on about the fucking empowered evocation.
Okay, let's talk about Overchannel, because this also is pretty good. When you cast a wizard spell of 1st through 5th level that deals damage, you can deal maximum damage with that spell. Woo, baby!
That is so good.
First time you do so, you suffer no adverse effect. If you use this feature again before you finish a long rest, you take 2d12 necrotic damage for each level of the spell immediately after you cast it. Each time you use this feature again before finishing a long rest, the necrotic damage per spell level increases by 1d12. This damage ignores resistance and immunity. It's great. I love this feature.
I mean,
it's so fun.
You're doing effectively. You're doing close to double damage of your big blasty spells, which is
on average
effectively like you're casting 2 Cone of Colds at the cost of 1 action and 1 spell slot.
Yeah,
which is
being able
very good.
Being able to maximize spell damage is very good because spells have a lot of dice.
Yes,
and it becomes very efficient for you to do so. Because the spell slot that you're using is of a far lower spell slot level.
We've experienced the power level of maximized spells.
Yeah, max damage spells is really good. I mean, we literally gave a cleric its own tier solely because it was able to maximize a fireball. Now, they did it a lot earlier than this, and they were clerics, not wizards, so this probably doesn't get its own tier off that alone, but it is still very powerful.
Are there some ancestors resistant necrotic? I actually have no idea, because none of the ones I can think of have that,
There's those
but
creatures.
some of the newer ones probably do. But this does ignore resistance and immunity.
Yeah, it bypasses the resistance.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe Asimar, yeah. The problem is just that because it's a base book feature, they're like, it should do necrotic damage instead of just you lose X amount of hit points, which is what they did for... I think that's what they did for... what is it, life transference?
Yeah.
The specific wording of losing hit points is very different from taking damage.
Mm-hmm.
If you're maximizing a 5th level spell and like necrotic damaging yourself, you're taking 65 necrotic damage. That's kind of brutal.
Yeah,
it's pretty brutal.
Listen,
You're not gonna want to do that. However,
yeah,
you're using
the
this
fact that you
little-
have the option.
You
I
could
love that they gave
like.
you the option.
Listen.
I love that they give you the option to fucking explode in a blaze of glory.
Yes, it's so good. It's so good that they give you the choice to just listen.
We all like
my party needs me, and you're low health anyway. You're like, I won't last long either way. It's time to fucking
So-
max cone of cold someone.
I was
in
gonna
the
say
face.
this is
I trust you. You'll revive me, right?
this is something that I kind of wish was more readily present, but I think isn't for the specific reason of wizards, when you play D&D, kind of assume that you're going to want to be attached to your characters. But for me personally, there are few things I love more in the world than a worthy sacrifice. Like a dramatic moment where you give up your life to like fend off or like let your allies escape or whatever. Just delicious. I love it so much.
God. So where would we rank this?
I mean, like it right, like it
slaps.
just does so much damage.
Yeah.
Obviously,
But
the
not
feature
early.
comes quite late. But you know, sculpt spell is an okay to good feature. Potent cantrip is kind of like an okay feature if you really need to use it, but honestly, probably
Not great, but I mean.
And then at 10th level and 14th level, you get very respectable and potentially game-breaking power spikes.
Yeah, I think you're pretty happy with Sculpt Spell for a while, just because you're like, I'm not hurting my party.
I think so.
Skull Spell is such a weird thing because it's the feature that I would love to have always, but I don't know how powerful it is. How much should convenience
not
play
that
into a
powerful.
power ranking? Right? It's just
effectively
so convenient.
Effectively, if there's a situation where you're fireballing your party, they're not at risk of dying anyway. So this would not like actually be that effective.
Yeah, this is kind of a hard one.
Let me just finish. The power level this comes from is in the situations where you can't fireball your fireball your fighter because it would be too dangerous, and you have to hit less targets. With your fireball. So this lets you hit more targets.
The opportunity cost.
The way that I see it is that you are always able to get, maximum value in terms of how many targets you're hitting, which I rate pretty highly.
And it'll be great once you get Overcast too.
I've played enough casters.
Like, to be fair, we're talking about like when we're fireballing our team, they're not really in a position to like die to it, but also like your fireball does do a considerable amount of damage. Like, even if they succeed, you're like, imagine if you just had a feature where every time you cast like if you cast a spell or an AoE or whatever, and like they just took like 13.5 less damage, right? Like, that's not terrible.
I think I've played enough casters that the scenarios in which I would be like, this would be do or die, this feature, are really pretty slim.
I
So I actually don't think
that
it's that powerful.
I think it's just, I think this is like,
it's a fine to good feature. But it's a little bit niche. It's surprisingly niche. But
it is definitely worse than, like, for instance, divination second level feature by like a lot.
Yeah, but I will say it's so nice to have. It's almost worth it just solely because you don't have to fucking think. You don't have to be meticulous in your planning.
So nice. Your party won't get mad at you when you're like, put the fireball.
You just drop the AoE on them. It speeds up turns because you don't have to worry about it. It's great.
Level 1 through 9 though, like I think this is pretty similar power level to like a divination wizard.
It's really not that strong until level 10.
However,
it comes online so hard after that level.
This is my question, right? Because I think none of us think it's S tier.
No.
Is it A tier? That's where I'm trying to figure out.
I think it's at least A tier.
I
think
agree.
it's A. Yeah.
So
I would love
that
to
is
put
kind
it
of
in
where
S,
I'm at.
but it just comes on too late.
Agreed.
Yeah, like when
Agreed.
I compare 1 to 9 Artificer Blightsinger, there's no contest. And then when
a lot of campaigns never even get to 10.
I know, and then when I consider like 14th level, Evocation is like definitely in contention for like you would want to play. I think like at 14th level it's between Blightsinger and Evocation.
14th level, it's definitely S tier, but
most games don't get there, and I think we do have to consider that.
I'm surprised. I thought
I
it
would much rather play this than a Blightsinger at 14th level, actually, to be honest.
Yeah,
So,
I love Blightsinger, but oh my god, maxing damage is fun.
Yeah,
it's just a fun fucking class.
I know some people like Treant Monk would scoff at the idea of like a non-utility wizard being strong. But like some people just don't understand that death is the strongest CC.
Yes, it's true. If you do enough damage, your enemies can't do damage to you.
I would like to permanently stun that large clump of enemies.
And if you do enough damage, you don't need saving throws.
Is that where we ending on? Is that?
I think so. Are
you sure you don't got more?
Yeah, it's been 3 hours.
All right.
Has been 3 hours. Like we could push a couple more. Like I think we could maybe try Graviturgy Illusion.
Excuse me.
I don't know.
Nah, it sounds like you're not up for it. So let's do it next week.
We shall return. I will say I have slightly bad news on that front. I cannot do next weekend.
Sean is not here next week.
Sorry.
Sad.
F.
Maybe I'll just drag Dan out and we'll just do something else.
What is something else?
And now for something completely different.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'll probably just take the week off of streaming. Actually, next Sunday would be a great time to get some chores done.
Well, I am happier with this list now that it's been filled out a bit more.
Yeah.
It's so funny. There's nothing in C tier.
I know, but there's no. We only have. We've only rated 8, so.
I wonder. No, it's This makes sense.
Does everything look good so far? It looks pretty good to me, to be honest.
Yeah, kind of same.
All right.
Yeah. Well, excellent. Close us out, Josh.
Okay, well, I'll hit that stream ending screen button, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for D&D Tier List Stream Wizards Part 2. Most likely Part 2 of 3, to be perfectly frank. Wizards take belong.
Wouldn't have been this way if Artificer Wizard wasn't the thing.
Fucking we spent like an hour talking about Artificer.
For fucking ever.
My God.
Artificer Wizard do this.
I thought we'd be able to just breeze through it because I figured it'd be bad because it was early on Earth Arcana. And
That's
I was
what I thought
wrong.
too, but no.
I'm upset.
Our understanding of the game has evolved. We're so advanced now. We understand that a D4 damage is pretty okay.
Pretty okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty okay when you get it like all the time forever.
All the time forever, no concentration required, baby.
Yeah. Man, I would love to be a melee person in a party with an Artificer Wizard. I just get to have more fun. The entire campaign.
You would just be bigger all the time.
I'd be bigger all the time. I'd be hitting harder all the time. Not like hugely harder, but like it'll add up for sure. But it'll be really fun.
Yeah, 5th level would be an amazing level for you.
And I feel like I'd get addicted after all. I'm like, I need my fix, man. I'm small.
Not big enough. You have to find some kind of permanent solution to becoming
Look at my
big.
little legs. Look at my little legs.
Anyway, yes, so that's it. You know what, actually? I think they would... So you know how it lasts 1d4 hours, right? Where it's like...
No.
2.5 hours on average is like definitely enough time that you can cast it before a fight, but not so long that it's like
always.
Not so long that it's guaranteed. You could fix this problem just by having a thief rogue and just have them feed you potions as a bonus action.
But they run around force feeding party members potions.
All right, so okay, so the ideal party here is 5 people. It's 1 artificer wizard, 2 frontliners, a rogue, and then another spellcaster. Maybe another. Maybe would you want another artificer? I think the value would go down if you had another one. You get diminishing returns.
Yeah, I mean, unless you have more than 3 meleeers, but like that's unlikely.
Yeah, that's really unlikely. And you'd rather just have spellcasters at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Well, yeah.
Thanks for coming out. We'll see you in 2 weeks for that. Next Saturday we'll also have Ace Attorney if you want to come by for that.
Oh, nice. Yeah, thank you for watching.
Yeah. We're almost done with classes of wizards. There's so many fucking wizards though. Jesus Christ.
I love it. Man,
these fucking things.
I wish there was more paladins.
Damn,
I wish there was more good paladins. Like the fact that
paladins
the 2
do
of the
feel
3,
so underwhelming, don't they?
all the other classes get really good, like new classes, and all their to make their old base PHP subclasses feel awful. Paladin base PHP classes are some of the best.
Yeah.
They never really got that much better.
Maybe you'll wake up early enough for Ace Attorney. I mean, yeah, it's not a very Europe-friendly time slot, unfortunately.
Alas.
Okay. Well, we'll see you next week then. Bye.
Bye-bye.